All right, guys. Oh, we're here. Morning, good morning. Bitcoin is currently under 70,000. Under 70K for Bitcoin. Here's 70,000 right here. We are underneath it. We're at 69,600 for Bitcoin. It is tumbling down. Today we have two jobs reports. We have jobless claims unemployment. We also have the JOLTS job report at 10 a.m. today. So we have two different jobs reports today. Maybe this will help the market. Yesterday we did have Google earnings, and I think they're down as well. So a lot of stuff's reacting negatively to the earnings stand. Here's the NASDAQ sitting right around 25K. I actually really like that level because it'll probably give me some stuff to trade. Here's Google or Alphabet at 324s right now. Again, it is red on the day. It closed at 330s. What's up, Blaze, Steve, Brian, Plum, Rick, E, Mamba, Ava, Womble, Rami, Smoke, Bam Bam, BA, Sergio, Doc. What's up, guys? Good morning. That needs to print. Yeah, the Bank of England also in breaking news just a couple minutes ago, actually. Held rate steady at 375 as expected. The votes were split 5-4. They expected a 7-2 split, but they were split. They were a little bit more split than expected. So 4 of them voted for a cut to 3.5% by the Bank of England. They also forecast lower inflation and lower GDP for this year, Q1 and Q1 of next year. Sergio, you seem like you're late, brother. Refresh the screen, dude. We're here. But yeah, brutal Bitcoin market correction. Look at the NASDAQ tumble down to 25,000. Again, Bank of England more easing outlook than expected. Lower GDP, lower inflation. NASDAQ is starting to fall though. Look at the NASDAQ down under 25K now. Bitcoin again tumbling down this morning. It is at 69.5 right now. 69.5 for Bitcoin. Also, SpaceX is considering making its own mobile device, according to Reuters. If we take a look at gold or silver here, gold is falling down too. It's under $5,000 an ounce. Look at gold here. Again, under 5K an ounce for gold. Silver sliding down too at $76 an ounce for silver. Big tumble in silver right now. Look at this silver tumble from $90 all the way down to 76 this morning. And so brutal market corrections in a lot of places. Bitcoin, NASDAQ's under 25K as we speak. Bitcoin breaking down. And this is all ahead of jobless claims and JOLTS today. We do have job reports going live today. Some type of big breaking news must have just happened. This might be from the Bank of England presser, but I'm assuming could be dropping markets like this. Look at the market tumble. Money markets price in 50 basis points worth of Bank of England cuts by year end, up from 35 before the statement. The more easing by the Bank of England could be scaring people here. Let's look at silver at $76 an ounce. NASDAQ under 25K. Nvidia, microchips, and software have all been on a pretty big correction. And a lot of this drop in the NASDAQ specifically is from Nvidia right now. Look at Nvidia tumble down. It's at 175. Looking scary right now in markets, guys. It's looking pretty scary. Yeah, again, we're getting a correction in everything, to be honest. Look at the NASDAQ tumble down here. Look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ under 25K. Nvidia at 175s. Silver down to $75 an ounce. Look at silver tumble here today, man. Brutal drop for silver. Look at this. This happened earlier this morning. But yeah, stocks, crypto, silver, Bitcoin, all pretty weak today, guys. All pretty weak. And again, two different jobs reports today. We have jobless claims unemployment and then JOLTS at 10. Yeah, I'm looking up why silver fell so much earlier this morning. I mean, most people were blaming it on a broader post-crash unwinding that's still in play. A stronger dollar, easing geopolitical risks, and thin liquidity is what they're blaming it on. The dollar pushed to a near 2-week high if we look at the dollar index. So, is it a 2-week high? Yeah, dollar's been rising. Dollar's been feeling some of the weakness. The dollar pushed to new highs as geopolitical tensions, especially U.S.-Iran, eased. Positioning in liquidity after last week's historic spike in silver. You know, we bounced up a little bit to 90, and now we're back down to 76s as we speak on silver. Again, Bitcoin also looking weak. Banks note that tight London liquidity and fragile sentiments are amplifying every wave of selling, so a modest risk-off move produced another 10 to 15% drop. Analysts are framing this as a continuation of the Warsh news, which was Warsh was hawkish. Higher real rates shocked that initial burst of market bubble in silver, profit-taking, selling, margins. Yeah, gold. Again, under $5,000 an ounce. I'm just trying not to spill my coffee. Gold at $4,800 an ounce, $4,850 an ounce right now. But again, the NASDAQ getting a sharp reversal here. U.S. government plans new mining house to tap Africa's copper belt. Yeah, I'm watching this because, again, the Bank of England Monetary Policy Report and Press Conference is going to be starting sometime soon. Well, let me see what the Bank of England said. Okay, so, yeah, Bank of England holds rates. Narrow 5-4 vote, though. It said it expected a future cut if a sharp fall in inflation due in the coming months proved not to be a blip. Britain's economic growth this year and a rise in unemployment, the Bank of England left its benchmark rate 3.75. They said we need to make sure that inflation stays there, so we've held rates unchanged at 3.75 today. All going well, there should be scope for some further reduction in bank rates this year, which was a little bit more dovish than expected by the Bank of England, especially the split vote. Central Bank stressed it wants to make sure it was not a one-off in terms of inflation. They said they now expect inflation to slide to around 2% in April, helped in large part measured included in Finance Minister budget late November, much sooner than its earlier November forecasts. And yeah, markets are kind of digesting all of this. But markets are scary right now. Again, NASDAQ still tumbling down. We've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 red candles out of 10. Nvidia sliding down as well here. It's looking bleak this morning, guys. It's looking bleak. We also had news that Nvidia and Tower Semiconductor's team is going to scale AI infrastructure deployments. Taiwan Semiconductors, they need to make more advanced chips. Taiwan Semiconductors falling down as well here. You can see it in the red this morning. Hot on my hand. Hey. You get gold, guys. Look at gold. Get gold's down. They get Bitcoin. 69s for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is tumbling down here. Yikes. Who pulled the rug? I don't know. VIX above 20. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. The VIX is going to be high today for sure, just because of the red action that we're getting in a lot of different markets. It's not just one market. This is microchips week. Yesterday we had Alphabet and QCOM. QCOM missed guidance by pretty big amounts, and so they dropped from their earnings report. But today we have the NASDAQ down, Bitcoin down, gold down, silver down, microchips down. A brutal red day right now in markets. We'll see if this holds, but brutal red day. Scary for sure today. It's scary. Yeah, if we take a look at the VIX here on the left side, VIX is over 20 right now. And again, probably justifiably so. One of the things that we've seen from this earnings season, chat, is that companies have had really strict reactions. Again, we talked about this a lot prior to this earnings season because I thought this would be a story of this earnings season. One of the things we're seeing is that companies this earnings season needed to beat, raise by big margins. If just one of these numbers did not beat and raise, I should say, then generally the stocks reacted negatively to it. We can look at Alphabet. We can look at, what was the one before that this week? We could look at Alphabet. We could look at AMD. Most companies needed a beat and raise scenario. And, companies have just been incredibly strict in terms of the reactions that we see from the earnings reports. Generally, they're a lot more, Generally, they're a little bit less strict with reactions. Like, sometimes we get big moves even if they miss these numbers. But this earnings season specifically, they needed beat and raise, and a lot of them did and still went down. So, Microsoft, same thing. AMD, same thing. Yeah, we saw it a lot. So microchips is kind of the story of this here. There's the VIX on the left. Again, microchips is kind of the story. If we look at, again, most of the companies that reported earnings this week, AMD down significantly. Alphabet down from yesterday. But what would we see? Microsoft down significantly. So again, these are Nvidia, even though not related, even though CapEx yesterday for Alphabet was good. And one of the reasons, we see Nvidia up is because Alphabet did raise their CapEx for this year. It's like, let me see, I posted it. Yeah, like Alphabet did raise their CapEx. So these were Alphabet's numbers right here. And they posted Q4 CapEx at 91.5, which is basically where it was already. 26 CapEx, 175 to 185 billion, which obviously benefited Nvidia. Nvidia immediately reacted positively here, but it hasn't held. And again, microchips people are a little nervous about them this morning. As I say that though, we do have some bounces back here. Here's Bitcoin starting to rise back up. We do see Bitcoin starting to make a little bit of a move back up. If we take a look at gold or silver, again, gold or silver, they're starting to bounce back up as well, but still, most of this stuff's still pretty red on the day. And this is all heading into a jobs report in about an hour. We do have the jobless claims report today in about an hour. So, again, one of the stories is the Bank of England being much more dovish than expected, much more fearful of weakening labor is essentially what it is. The votes were almost split in half by the Bank of England when they expected, I think, 7-2. Votes were like 5-4, so it was almost split in half in terms of people who wanted to pause versus people that wanted rate cuts. The 5 won versus the 4 who wanted cuts, but still 4 out of 9 wanted cut this meeting. So, and again, this is heading into jobless claims today. Jobless claims is how many people are filing for unemployment. We're also getting the JOLTS report that was supposed to come out the day before yesterday. It's now coming out today. Now that the market is, or now that the government is open. Look at the NASDAQ here. That NASDAQ is still dipping down. I'm watching 25K underneath us, but the NASDAQ just tested lows of the day again. So NASDAQ just tested lows of the day. It's at 24.9s right now. 24.9s. Yeah, we have JOLTS job openings at 10. We have jobless claims unemployment at 8:30. Challenger job cuts just showed up as well. For January, guys, Challenger job cuts just showed up, and they showed up at 108,000, 108.43 thousand for Challenger job cuts. So job cuts showed up. Previously, there were 35,000. Today, they just showed up at 108,000 for Challenger job cuts. Just showed up just now. So, not really an economic report I cover, but it's relevant to all the stuff going on. Again, I'll put that number up. Look, Challenger job cuts showed up at 108.435K. Previously, it was 35.5. Bank of England's Governor Bailey also says his main message is one of good news. Disinflation is ahead of schedule. In the post-meeting statement. So, a little scary right now. Does this? Let's do a poll. Does this market correction? Or how about out of all the symbols making corrections, which do you want to buy? Do we put gold, Bitcoin, silver, or equities? Probably the easiest way to put it. Vote on that poll. Let me know how you guys think. Honestly, I'm curious about today. I mean, volatility is generally good for day trading, so we'll see if we can day trade more. But you vote on that poll now. That poll is now live. So far, gold is in the lead at 56% of votes so far on gold. $35% in gold. Gold's still in the lead. Equities actually just took the lead at 40%. Want to buy equities right now? Yeah, I'm actually green on the day again in equities. Or actually, no, I'm actually completely flat. I was green. Netflix is helping me today. I did buy Netflix a while back. We go down 30 to 40%. Let's talk. Maybe. It's more than interesting. It's evidence that this isn't a bubble popping. Maybe there is a bubble, maybe there isn't, but we haven't seen a pop for sure. No, this isn't big enough for a pop. I mean, this is something. It could be the start of one, but it's not. It's too early. Nasdaq still tumbling down here. Crack lows again. We're under 25,000. Let's see what happens here. It's an interesting day for sure. We had some earnings come out, but nothing too big this morning. Kroger and some other stuff. Get Amazon's this afternoon. You get a lot of stuff soft right now. Crypto. Get Bitcoin down heavy. 75,000 broke, and now we're under 70,000 as we speak here. Unless we bounce back, let's take a look. Yeah, we're under 70,000 Bitcoin here. Labor weakness is going to be an interesting story here, but again, Bitcoin down. Currently sitting at 69.3s. Again, layoffs just hit their worst level since January. Their worst January level since 2009 on CNBC, according to the Challenger job cuts that you can see in the big red banner on the bottom of the screen. Again, Challenger job cuts showed up at 108.43 thousand. 435,000. So previously, again, it was only 35,000 job cuts. Now it's up to over 100,000 job cuts. The worst January level since 2009. The worst January level, again, since 2009. 17 years. Microsoft is down after Stifel downgraded them to a hold from a buy as well. And so one of the things that we're seeing drag markets down, again, Microsoft down to 406 right now. 406. Nasdaq still tumbling down. We're at 24.8. Warsh choice is going to cause a crash. Honestly, I don't understand the Warsh choice. I really don't. Maybe he, again, like, look, maybe some of the stuff he said when he got interviewed changed, you know, his already out there sentiment of being hawkish in the president's opinion, right? But I don't understand Warsh. Warsh has been hawkish historically. He fears inflation. If you're mad at Jerome Powell for not cutting rates earlier, and then you appoint an FOMC chairman that is pretty well known to be a hawk, it's just, it doesn't make the most sense to me, and the market definitely doesn't like it. Market hadn't liked it since they found out. Again, Nasdaq still tumbling down here, 24.8 right now in the NQ. Kevin Warsh starts in May. Jerome Powell steps down in May. Again, Nasdaq deep red today. Yeah, again, part of this is Microsoft getting downgraded to a hold from a buy by Stifel. But tech, what we're seeing drop right now. Again, tech is what we're seeing drop. Look at the VIX. VIX is almost up to 21, people are saying. And yeah, VIX is up to 20.8 right now, basically. VIX is spiking. Tech is falling. Weakness is here. Save the dollar, maybe. It contradicts the president's already pretty outspoken view on rates right now, you know. But again, maybe he knows something we don't. I don't know. Yeah, AI hype is dwindling. Again, Bitcoin correcting. We did a poll a couple minutes ago. We asked people, out of all the symbols making corrections, which do you want to buy? So far, we have Bitcoin as the leader. Or Bitcoin's basically tied with equities at 31% votes. Gold is number 2 at 29%. Only 8% of people want to buy silver out of these votes. Again, vote in the poll if you want. But again, part of the reason tech is falling as well is Microsoft. Again, you can see the Microsoft slump here, downgraded to a hold from a buy at Stifle. Again, Challenger job cuts hit the worst level since 2009 in 17 years. We have Bank of England's Bailey speaking right now. He said a couple different things. He said, need to ensure inflation stays at 2%, should be scope for further policy easing. Monetary policy is not being hit by new shocks. Again, he said wage growth, services inflation and wage growth needs to fall further for MPC to be confident that inflation will return to target and stay there. Upside risk to inflation has continued to diminish, he says. So that's part of the story. Again, Bank of England paused rates, but it was a lot more split than most people expected here. A lot more split than most people expected. Again, most people expected it to be 7-2 in terms of voting. It was 5-4. So 4 people wanted a 25 basis point cut. So it was almost split down the middle there. Javier, Yair, Jono, Ty. We also have another big deficit. Budget approved. I mean, I understand fearing inflation. VIX going to 23. Like, I understand fearing inflation. Inflation is something we should fear. Like, we should fear inflation, but we also should fear labor weakness. And I think Jerome Powell said previously, even though people like to label Powell a hawk, Jerome Powell said something that I've been saying for months, which is that after a certain point, the labor market becomes the priority. And so I get being a hawk. I get fearing inflation. Depends on what the labor market's looking like. So that's the big context of it. Again, Bitcoin is down under 70K, dropping as much as 4.6%. Its lowest level since November of 2024. Again, Bitcoin drops to its lowest level since 2024, November of 2024. Selling pressure has intensified across crypto markets. It's now about 45% below its October peak. ETF inflows are going down. Futures markets entering a forced deleveraging phase. Analysts are saying weak volumes and sustained selling are pushing investors to exit. And we'll see if this continues. Inflation is like 0.9%. What inflation are they talking about? Are you talking about on the month? Please read the room, get what money you made and get out. If you don't, you will get crushed. Yeah, and again, this is all heading into February. So again, we had a couple instances in which we thought the tariff decision might come out. Again, we've had a couple decisions where we thought tariff decisions might come out by the Supreme Court. It's now looking like February 20th. In 15 days, roughly 2 weeks, is when we're going to get a tariff decision. Maybe, potentially later, honestly. But if that comes in, I don't even know what the market wants there. I don't know if the market wants a reversal of the tariffs, which is the most probable thing. The last time I looked at it, I'll have to check prediction markets, but the last time I looked at it, it was the most probable outcome. is that they were going to reverse the tariffs. And if the tariffs made the market go down, maybe that'll make the market go up. I don't know, man. I think they're going to figure out ways to implement tariffs anyway, and so it might just kickstart another volatility cycle in tariffs, and I'm nervous about that as well. Bitcoin's not 65K now, but it's at 69s. It's not looking good. Again, NASDAQ down, Microsoft helping kind of exacerbate all these problems right now. Again, currently Bitcoin is at 35%. So out of all the symbols making market corrections, which do you want to buy? 35% say Bitcoin. Taylor's average is 77. I'd hold interest rates at 0.5% PPI is no good. Michael Saylor probably in trouble right now. Let's just be honest here. But again, I like Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's going to go up over time, and you know, Bitcoin goes in phases. So again, not an investment professional, not liable if you lose. Understand all this stuff on screen. I can't guarantee anything. Do not copy me. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose. NASDAQ starting to test this low again. Again, let me put a timer up for jobless claims. We do have jobless claims unemployment going live at 8:30. Again, jobless claims unemployment going live at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. So, yeah. Again, we have JOLTS at 10. Put this timer up. We go NASDAQ, guys. Still falling down, breaking lows here. Look at that, it's at 24.7s. The NASDAQ is tumbling here. You can't liquidate someone that is holding Bitcoin. That's why you diversify and have cash ready. Silver's not going up until December of that year. Bitcoin's not going up until December of that year. That 4-year cycle is a real thing. Right, no, 100%. I agree there's cycles. Again, equity futures extend weakness. Tech valuation fears. Again, Alphabet's down almost 5% after they hiked 2026 CapEx plans, which we thought would benefit chips. And NVIDIA did react positively to that, but Stifel downgraded Microsoft. It sees 27 estimates too high, and QCOM had bad guidance. So again, QCOM helping drive this move as well. Again, QCOM yesterday missed guidance by a pretty big margin. And look at the percentage drop in QCOM here. So again, equities getting hit today. Bitcoin getting hit. The U.S. and Russia are negotiating an extension to a New START nuclear pact, according to Axios. We also had the Bank of England pause rates, but it was a lot more split and divisive than expected here at 5-4 voting. 4 voting for 25 basis point cut. Bank of England's Governor Bailey said on one hand, cutting bank rates too quickly or too much could lead to inflation pressures persisting. On the other hand, waiting too long could cause sharper downturn in activity. And again, Bank of England paused rates. My last name is literally London, London, so I got to cover England's news sometimes. Shout out to all my Brits out there, you know. But again, Bailey said it was a closer call, obviously, with terms of voting. Again, 5-4 in terms of voting, 5-4. Gold and silver also correcting down some. Gold under $5,000 an ounce. Silver at 76 an ounce. So silver, look at this silver correction here. People thought silver would continue bouncing back. We had this brutal drop, and then we bounced back up to over 90s yesterday. And then early this morning, boom, back down to $75 an ounce for silver. So, hey, New England is as good as Old England, except I'm a Saints fan, and so, you know, I'm not rooting for the Packers, sir, but that's okay. You know, I respect your opinion. This is not as bad as 2008. Well, definitely not yet. 2008 was a different thing. 2008 happened because of mortgages mostly. Like basically, people acted like the mortgage market in 2008 was invincible. Mortgage companies started giving out way too many mortgages with no verification in terms of income and all this different stuff, and it just caused problems. And then markets started speculating on that, and it turned into this big clustered mess. I'm not even gonna. It just turned into a big mess, right? Super leveraged. And so when the dominoes started to fall there, it took everything else down with it. Is basically what happened in 2008. Again, look at the NASDAQ, guys. Fear today, 24,720s right now in the NQ. Scary market right now. Bank of England's Governor Bailey on why it didn't cut today says MPC needs to see more evidence that inflation will sustainably return to target. Keep cool, everything will be fine. Where's oil at today? Again, silver down, gold down, equities down. Oil's down in the day as well, although it was at $64 a barrel here. So you need an emergency rate cut? We're not going to get one of those. Definitely not by Jerome Powell now. We're going to get a big market correction. If everything is down, then what exactly are people buying? Again, NASDAQ's definitely down. 24/7s. It was at 25K plus when I looked at it first this morning. 30 minutes ago. I'm not going to say my stream caused this drop. I think honestly it's the Bank of England. It's Microsoft's downgrade. It's previous earnings from the last few days. My stream started right here. You know, I'm not going to say it's my stream's fault, but open to speculate on. Again, Macron is making plans to discuss strong euro at the EU summit this week. Again, Bank of England's Governor Bailey says we need to see more evidence that we're going to get a sustainable return to inflation target. And again, one of the big stories of the day, Bitcoin, which seems to be finding a little bit more legs than equities right now. Again, here's Bitcoin. Bitcoin at 69.3s, but it's kind of going sideways right now. NASDAQ has been breaking down here today. So, Jim Cramer's fault? Stream's fault? Whose fault is it, guys? I don't know whose fault it is. Definitely not my fault. Let me know. Whose fault is this? Gotta blame somebody. Why did they restrict metals? I'm not sure. I don't know. Probably because they're highly volatile and crazy right now. A lot of props are restricting metals, specifically gold, silver. Like it's not just Apex. It's a lot of different ones, to be honest. Yeah, it's probably realistically I'm not gonna say it's Warsh's fault, but the interpretation of Warsh as the next FOMC chairman might be causing some of this for sure. Again, oil down, NASDAQ down. Microchips down, tech down, equities down, Bitcoin down, gold, silver down. Again, here's gold. Here's silver. Gold's being a little bit more resilient than silver is, though. Silver's down at $76 an ounce. And NASDAQ's starting to bounce a little bit here, but it's a scary market right now, guys. Scary market. Again, we got jobless claims, unemployment. 40 minutes. Where's Palantir? And again, today we have Amazon earnings. Palantir making a big correction back down to basically pre-earnings levels here. So earnings came out. Palantir jumped. Palantir is now down way under where it came out with earnings. At 135 is a share for Palantir right now. AI sentiment is dwindling is what we're seeing. Dollar is up. Scary markets, guys. Scary markets. My fault I left the money markets late October. Everything fell when I entered. It is your fault, bro. I blame you. AMC? What's AMC doing, dude? I'm still mad about my pizza. But AMC doesn't move anymore. It kind of barcodes. I don't know how many shares are out there for AMC right now. There's probably too many looking at the price action though. Yeah, so again, a lot of people are saying software stocks are obviously driving this. Again, Alphabet's been falling down this morning. Microsoft got downgraded to a hold from a buy. But again, investors essentially pre-Alphabet earnings yesterday were looking for a steady measured assessment of tech. Instead, they told investors late yesterday that they're going to spend as much as $185 billion on AI investments this year in 2026. That is a 55% increase from the previous year's record tally, which was at $91 and $93 billion. They said, quote, CapEx spend this year is with an eye towards the future. I expect the demand we are seeing across the board, across all services, is exceptionally strong. And honestly, I thought this might benefit markets just because more spending on AI is good, you know? But at least two key concerns after yesterday. Biggest AI company spending so much cash. People are worried about returns. And so technology is no longer monolithic, said Truist Advisory Chief Investment Officer Keith Lerner. He said, quote, the old refrain was that software would eat the world. Today, the concern is that AI might eat software, even as areas such as semiconductors trade at record highs, essentially. And again, this is what we were talking about yesterday. The problem right now, the reason we're seeing software corrections is because 10 years ago, if you wanted to build your own software, you had to hire developers. You had to do all these different things. It was going to cost a bunch of money to build your own software 10 years ago if you didn't know how to code. Today, you could probably build your own software in less than a week yourself, using AI as your mentor, using AI as your programmer. You can build your own very quickly. It'll walk you through every step. It'll say step 1, step 2, step 3. If you don't know how to do that step, you can say, delve into this more and teach me how in a more detailed way, and it will. And so because of that, software companies which rely on margins to be good for people buying their software or buying their software services, their margins are going down because people can produce their own now. There's more competition. They're going to have to lower prices. And this is causing a software slump in a lot of different things right now because, again, like this guy said, they're worried AI is going to eat software. And it kind of is to a certain extent. And I think that sentiment makes sense. And so, again, what we're seeing is a lot of tech, a lot of software companies drop over the last week. Again, Microsoft downgraded today to a hold rating. So, yeah. AI absolutely makes building software faster. Absolutely it does. Again, coming from somebody, listen, now, I have built my own software before. React Native is what I built it on. I'm a JavaScript developer. AI absolutely makes building software easier. Absolutely does. And this is incredibly self-evident. If you've tried to build a software prior to AI versus trying to build a software now, way easier. And I think, again, I'm a programmer. I don't want to believe that AI is, I don't want to believe I taught myself how to program for nothing, right? But I think we have to look at it objectively. And I think there's a lot of confirmation bias in here from software devs that don't want to believe that they're maybe not as needed as they were 5 years ago. And it's a scary thing, and I get it. But again, that's the sentiment right now, is that AI might eat software. You're still going to need developers, don't get me wrong. But the skills and classifications of those developers the standard is going to be raised for that stuff. So. You think it's worth learning code now, even though AI does most of it? It depends on what you're trying to do. Again, ironically, I've said this many times, but I think it's a lot easier to learn how to program now than it was when I taught myself. It's way easier to learn now. Way easier. You can basically ask AI to tell you what you're doing wrong and to teach it in a more profound way, in an easier way. You can explain what you don't know or what you don't understand about a specific problem you're having, and AI will walk you through everything very quickly. It's like having your own personal teacher, mentor in programming. So, but with that said, it's less success guaranteed by learning to program now. Again, NASDAQ getting close to lows of the day again. Software stocks are on the decline. Again, Microsoft downgraded at Stifle. You can see this drop starting, and this is another reason markets are correcting. Challenger job cuts. Again, if you look at the bottom of the screen, 108.43 thousand. So 108.435K. The highest level since 2009 for Challenger job cuts. Again, 100,000+ Challenger job cuts. Previously was 35. The highest level since 2009. So you think money will flow from the software industry to the AI industry? Yes. Yes, I do. I think people are going to start using AI to build software. And I think there's going to be specialized AIs, like there already is, like Claude and some other stuff. There's already specialized AI for programming. And again, people worry about AI monetization. Again, AI is going to monetize itself in a very simple way. Through data. And this is obvious. I mean, this is clear. You know, how do search engines profit? From data. How is AI going to profit? From data. And I think this is obvious. A lot of people like to reference subscriptions, and I get it. But again, it's going to profit through data. Again, Challenger job cuts, 108,000+ in January, up 205% from December, and the highest January total since 2009. This was led specifically by transportation. UPS is planning to lay off about 30,000 jobs, and tech, driven mainly by Amazon's 16,000 planned layoff. Healthcare also saw reductions. Loss of contracts and economic uncertainty were big drivers. AI accounted for 7% of the cuts. So, you think AI is going to replace traders? No. I think there's going to be a pretty decent group of traders for the foreseeable future that want to manually trade themselves. I do think indicators are going to get better. Indicators are going to get better, more widely used for sure. So. There's some of them were AI related. It says AI accounted for 7% of cuts. Most of it was led by UPS, 30,000 job cuts, Amazon, 16,000 layoffs, healthcare saw declines. Again, we are down significantly here. The NASDAQ, gold and silver. Again, Bitcoin is essentially going sideways right now. But here's Bitcoin at 69.4s as we speak, 69.4s for Bitcoin. And so again, Bitcoin has been tumbling down as well, under 70,000 for, right now. We'll see if it holds there, though. And again, we have 2 jobs reports today, chat. In 30 minutes or so, we've got jobless claims unemployment going live, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. At 10 a.m. today, we have the JOLTS job report that was delayed from previous numbers. So at 10 o'clock today, we have the JOLTS numbers that was delayed. And so 2 jobs reports today. Again, the Bank of England paused rates, but it was a lot more split than expected. The votes were 5-4, 5 voting for a pause, 4 voting for a 25 basis point cut today. They did say inflation is starting to go, the outlook for inflation there might be getting better is essentially what they said, but that they are seeing declines. Some weakness in labor is essentially what it is. So a little bit more dovish sentiment by the Bank of England today after their rate decision, which was a pause. And again, we got jobless claims data at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Again, earlier, U.S. and Russia agreed to reestablish military talks. Good. Bank of England's Governor Bailey said market conditions are entirely orderly today. We're coming to the tail end of shocks we've been seeing. Man, Bitcoin down into big levels. Again, Challenger job cuts hit 108.43K thousand. So, again, the weakest January numbers, 09. To me, the fact that we're correcting in Bitcoin so much slower than the stock market means we're oversold, and also the bottom may be closer to 60K. Looking at our polls, we asked people out of all the symbols making corrections, which do you want to buy? 38% out of all the votes, out of 600 votes almost, said Bitcoin. Again, we are heading into our jobless claims report. NASDAQ is starting to bounce back a little bit here, though. Here's 25,000. I'm watching 25K. 25K is right here. Right around the VWAP, right around the 200 exponential. We get back up there, maybe I'll short. Maybe. Problem is AI for the retail sector is just not profitable. 95% of ChatGPT not pay for it. Yeah, I mean, you might be right. All the trading algos incorporate humans like AI will never master humans like too random. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think you're always going to have a percentage of people that just want to manually trade themselves. I'm not really a big fan of letting robots trade for me. I might let robots give me indicators, or just, I might use, there's a better way to say it. I might use software to show me good buy and sell zones in areas, but I don't like letting things trade for me. AI is going to replace every one of us and everything we do. Well, maybe deeper into the future, sure. Not right now, though. I mean, the next big money pool in markets is going to be robotics. I think that's obvious. It's going to be robotics. We might have tailwinds in between that, but robotics is the next big thing. Again, crypto under 70,000 as we speak here. NASDAQ and Microsoft starting to bounce back a little bit, though, but look at Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin at 69. Yeah. Hey, later, Blaze. Like the rotation of value, dividend stocks, value may be overbought and tech will soon come back. Yeah, I mean, luckily, one of the things that I did recently, like a couple months ago, is I started rotating into, like, my portfolio honestly has been pretty green the last few days. Home Depot has helped it a lot. Disney, Coca-Cola, Nike, Target, all very green in those positions. It's helped a lot. Not green in all of them. I think I'm red in Disney still, but again, you know, I kind of rotated a little bit out of tech. I was worried we might see some corrections. So I don't know about robots, if they're going to be whining about materials right now. They're going to pull that off. Is everything red? Kind of. Bitcoin's red, NASDAQ's red, S&P is red, Microsoft is red, Alphabet's red. Nvidia, I think, is slightly green just because of the high capex from Alphabet's earnings yesterday. Gold and silver, very red. So most things are brutally red today in a correction. Again, we got 25 minutes until jobless claims come out, man. But it's a scary market right now. Again, if you look at the chart scrolling at the bottom of at the top of the screen, if you look up here, is anything green? Again, Bitcoin red, ETH red, gold red, S&P 500 red, NASDAQ red, Dow is red. So everything's pretty freaking red. Euro red. VIX is high. VIX is high. VIX is up to almost 21s right now. Broke over 21s for a second. Almost over 66,000 bottom. See why Buffett is holding cash? Yeah, maybe that's the right move. I'm making an early call. Gonna be a very green day today. We're gonna fill the gap, you say. I hope you're right. Again, we got 2 job reports today. Chat, 2 specific job reports. We got jobless claims in 25 minutes, and we have JOLTS, 10 o'clock. Delayed report. We were supposed to get this Tuesday. We were supposed to get the payroll report tomorrow. We're not getting the payroll report tomorrow. Next week is gonna be a crazy week. Next week, we have retail sales, CPI inflation, the NFP unemployment labor report, and more next week. So next week's gonna be busy. Buy at fear. Is it time to buy, guys? That's a good question. Again, challenger job cuts scared markets again as well. And challenger job cuts ended up showing up at 108K, the highest January print since 2009 for challenger job cuts. Highest print since 2009 in January. The highest January print, I should say. Again, we did a poll this morning. A large majority of, or not, 40%. I think it's time to buy Bitcoin right now. Again, Bitcoin Bitcoin's been a little bit more sideways. Nasdaq has been dropping a little bit more recently than Bitcoin over the last hour or so. We'll see what Bitcoin does. Yeah, I mean, we're only down a little bit on the day in most things. The problem though is like the broader trend. If you look at the last 10 days, and again, at least once a year we do put in about a 10% correction. So maybe that correction's coming early this year. That's possible. It's definitely a scary market today though, for sure. I think especially in a market in which hasn't seen a lot of red days, the last week is an anomaly relative to what we've seen over the last 6 months. So yeah, here's the Nasdaq since it got really close to highs here January 28th. The last week we've corrected from basically being at almost highs all the way down to under 25,000 Nasdaq. So again, the Nasdaq was basically at highs. Highs I think were 399. We hit 350. So we got close to highs. Didn't quite break it though. The S&P did break highs at 7,000. Take a look at the E-mini here. S&P E-mini over 7,000 on the 28th. Now down to 68. Yeah, Microsoft got downgraded by Stifel this morning. If you look at Microsoft, and Microsoft downgraded at Stifel, it's down to 406. So Microsoft, one of the reasons we're down. NQ looking V-shaped recovery. No, I don't know about yet. Got a little bounce. See if we fill this gap. I mean, it definitely is somewhat of a recovery. It's better than it was looking earlier this morning. I know, but everyone's screaming crash. It's not a crash yet. I would say we're in the midst of a correction over the last week from highs. I think that's probably the most accurate. There's a correction for sure in a lot of stuff. Bitcoin, you could say, is crashing. Gold and silver, you could probably say it's crashing too, just based off of the percentage drops that they have made. Look, here's silver. Silver was at 120. It's now at 75. That's a very large crash percentage drop. Crash is generally considered over 25%. That's way over 25%. So from 100 down to 75 would be 25%. It was at 120 and it's at 75 now. So it's well over 25%. Again, in February is not really known as the best month for green activity in markets either. But yeah. No. Bitcoin is a crash, not a flash crash. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's been falling for months now, really. Yeah, I mean, if we look at the Nasdaq and see the total drop from highs, again, Nasdaq was at 26,340 over the last week, percentage-wise. We have dropped from 26,350 all the way down to where are we at now? 26,350 down to 24,837. So percentage-wise in the Nasdaq over the last week, it's dropped almost 6%. So almost a 6% drop in the Nasdaq. So again, people can bring up the percentage today and say, oh, well, the percentage today is only 1% or 0.6 or whatever it is. The reality of it is the Nasdaq over the last week has dropped 6%, which is not a small percentage. Again, gold and silver's crashing. Bitcoin's obviously in the midst of a crash. So most of strategy debt is convertible debt owned by institutions. First rounds aren't due until September. Pretty red. No, it's definitely red. Silver and gold are the most red, though. Those are the ones that are scaring the market. Again, here's gold. Silver down to 75, 120. Gold is down to 800, 5600s. Where it was at. But again, gold and silver definitely crashing. And here's gold at the peak at 5,600, dropped all the way down to 44.20s. We rebounded back up, and now we're kind of getting turned back down again. Uranium's red. Yeah, Warsh scaring people again. FOMC Chairman Warsh coming in May of this year. A lot of people do not like his hawkish historical opinions. Today will be the same as yesterday. Yesterday was weak. Again, one of the stories that's causing these drops is tech. All right, again, Microsoft. Here, just if you look at the percentage drop in Microsoft. Again, Microsoft dropped from 485s pre-earnings all the way down to 406 today. So again, Microsoft since earnings has dropped 16% for Microsoft. 16%. Mag 7 stock down 16%. If we take a look at Alphabet, again, Alphabet has dropped from basically 350 down to 318s. Hit 308s, but we'll use 318s based off of where it is now. That's down 9+%, over 9%. Again, AMD was at 266 on the 23rd of January. Again, 267, we'll call it. It's dropped all the way down to 200. So percentage-wise, it is down 25% since earnings. And so, again, what we're seeing is earnings season dumping tech stocks. And that's really what's affecting the NASDAQ. Again, there's a reason the NASDAQ there's a reason the NASDAQ's down almost 6%. And it's mostly just from really weak tech from earnings. Michael Burry's bet against big tech is vindicated. Yeah, maybe. All right, guys. Hey, we got 15 minutes left until jobless claims. Again, 15 minutes left. We've already had bad layoff numbers this morning come out. It won't just be tech. Figure the PE gap. Is it Warsh or is his appointment the scapegoat? He was kind of a pick out of nowhere and wasn't a front runner. It seemed leading into the decision. Yeah, I mean, Warsh started gaining traction as Fed chairman a couple weeks before the decision because I think the president made it clear it wasn't going to be Hassett. The president made it clear it wasn't going to be Hassett. So once we saw that, we did see the odds pivot more to Warsh. Reader was the front runner for a while as well. It gained some traction, but a lot of people were surprised by Warsh. Again, he's known as a little bit more of a hawk. So if the president's attacking Powell and saying he's too late, Warsh is kind of a different pick there. Yeah, Netflix. Netflix is actually green on the day. All right, guys. 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Does jobless claims come in higher or lower today? Higher or lower for jobless claims. Jobless claims today is expected at 212,000. 212,000. Last time was 209,000. So they are expecting jobless claims filings to tick up a little bit from 209. Again, they are expecting jobless claims to tick up. The ECB, the European Central Bank, did just post their decision right now. Just showed up. They paused rates as expected at 2.15%. So the ECB did pause rates as expected. Again, ECB did pause rates as expected. We had the Bank of England pause rates again, but they came out as a lot more dovish earlier this morning. But again, the ECB did just pause rates as expected. They get 2.15 versus expected 2.15, unchanged. They said they're not pre-committing to a particular rate path. They're going to follow data-dependent meeting-by-meeting approach. Yeah, Elf had earnings yesterday. Makeup company. They're slightly green. They didn't really hold a lot of the gains they put in. They went all the way to $100 a share. They're back down to 88s right now. Kind of following the weak trend in market still. Again, the NASDAQ, the VIX is high today, guys. VIX is high up to almost 21s. Gold futures at market opens. Hey, be careful. Burry is absolutely right about the big techs being overvalued, but Burry is incorrect about AI being a bubble. What kind of song is it? Against SPY 670s. Yeah, the question is, do we see a continuation of these moves at the opening bell today? Again, ECB is going to follow data-dependent meeting by meeting approach. They paused rates. See what the NASDAQ does. Again, silver, down. Gold, down on the day. Bitcoin, down. Here's Bitcoin. Bitcoin at 69,360s. God just opened a can of worms. What did I say? Gym bro music? I might be a gym bro. Bro? Hey, dude. Hey, no. You alright? Oh, your teeth. My son got braces yesterday. You want to show him? No? That's alright, dude. Hey, I'm kind of sick. Have a good day, bud. Ugh. AI is the most obvious bubble that ever bubbled. Bought some Snap because finally they're profitable. It took them long enough. What did it take them? 20 years? Profitable? I know Snapchat's always had monetization issues. This is Eastern Euro disco music? I guess I could see this. I felt like if I walked into a club in Germany, I might hear this song, you know? In which country's clubs would I hear this song playing? Let me know. Let me know. All right, guys. Bitcoin under 70K. I hope you feel better. Hey, thank you, man. You give great and detailed information. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Croatia. Yeah, maybe you're right. Wear a Nike tracksuit. Go to the club in Germany. They're going to be playing this. Okay. Call everybody bro. You know? I believe this bubble. I agree this bubble is very obvious. Slow walking, the clear signs. I didn't even pick most of this music. I just kind of go to, like, sometimes the lo-fi is a little bit too quiet. And Bitcoin down, sideways though. Gold, silver, NASDAQ down. And we're at 24,790s here. 24,790 silver. $8 a.m. Again, we got 11 minutes left. Chat, 11 minutes left until jobless claims unemployment comes out. And again, we have JOLTS at 10 a.m. Probably a bigger report for JOLTS. This is just a weekly unemployment filings report. So JOLTS is a larger report for sure. I don't even know if jobless claims is going to move the market. We'll cover it, but I don't know if it's going to move stuff. SoFi? I'm in SoFi, I think. I have to look. I think I'm in SoFi. I am in SoFi, but yeah, SoFi is down. Well, no bueno for SoFi, huh? You got Altman, leader of AI, begging for money. I got braces in 8th grade. Yeah, my son got braces previously. And then didn't want to wear his retainers, and now he's back. I mean, we had to wait for his adult teeth to show up anyway, so. All right, guys. Yeah, we got economic data releasing very soon. Very soon. 9 minutes. JOLTS numbers are expected specifically today at 7.2 million, which is higher than the last one. This is JOLTS job openings, right? Just to put this into perspective, this is not job cuts. It's not the same thing. Job openings is businesses expanding and hiring, is essentially what it is, right? So higher JOLTS is good for labor. Weaker JOLTS is bad for labor, right? So people hear JOLTS job openings and thinks it's layoffs, and it's not. Jobless claims unemployment is unemployment filings. And the Challenger job cuts that you can see on the bottom left of the screen, those are job cuts. Those are bad. Higher number is bad. And again, they showed up at the highest number in January since 2009. Challenger job cuts at 108.43 thousand. Previously was only 35,000 for December. Chipotle is a lot of things, loved by the young generation. All right, guys. Hey, we have 8 minutes until jobless claims. 8 minutes. A little scary of a market here, guys. 8 minutes. Again, big tech sell-off. Software fears. Again, software stocks are going down specifically because markets are digesting the fact that AI might eat software. What do I mean by that? I mean, AI makes it much easier to produce your own software. The learning curve is much smaller. It's a lot easier to build your own. It's a lot easier to learn programming. Because of that competition and really dilution dynamic with software, at the very least, we should see software margins go down. You see, we should see the amount of money that software companies make decrease. Although there might be more potential softwares out there anyway, and that might raise the bar anyway, I think. But again, that's the fear right now in software, is that AI makes it way easier to build your own, way easier to produce software. Because of that, there's going to be dilution in the market, competition in the market, and the prices for software are going to decline, which is good for the consumer if you want software, but bad for software companies who rely on high prices and good margins. So that is essentially what is causing this software correction. Again, Microsoft downgraded. We had Alphabet earnings yesterday. Super high CapEx spending for 2026, up to 185 billion for this year. CapEx AI spending, which made microchips and Nvidia go up. But the software slump is still affecting things. Bitcoin is down. Gold and silver are down. The Nasdaq is down. That's a scary market right now. A scary market. Theory that software sector is declining because AI will write software is just so the big boys can buy it cheaper. Yeah, maybe. Might be right. I don't know. Again, ECB did their rate decision. Bank of England's Governor Bailey still speaking after they paused rates, but it was a lot more split. Ultimately, a more dovish thing than expected here for the Bank of England. My company has no plans on leaving Salesforce. It's a little depressing for sure. All in on gold now. Gold is holding up better than silver is. And here's gold right here. Silver. And silver has gone down a huge percentage over the last week. Silver was at 120s. It's down to $76 an ounce. Memory and hardware stocks. Yeah, I mean, SanDisk is correcting too. SanDisk a couple days ago was at 725s. A couple days ago. It is now all the way down to 560s. Filled the entire gap from earnings, basically. Up a little bit, but not a lot. Again, Bitcoin weak, and it's all the way down to 69,000. Yeah, we'll see if we get some tweets here. But again, market's on edge right now. Market's on edge for sure. Governor Bailey says in some ways we are returning to a more normal state of affairs and waiting for evidence of inflation pressures to ease. I don't welcome unemployment, not a price worth paying, end quote. There you go. We got jobless claims unemployment live in 4 minutes. Chat, 4 minutes. Four minutes. Higher or lower jobless claims today? They're expected at 212. And previously, I'll have to see what they're expected. Again, previously jobless claims were 209K for jobless claims unemployment. Yeah, when JOLTS job openings comes out, the jobs report is getting switched to Friday. Or no, is it Friday? Jobs report is getting switched to Wednesday next week. That it was supposed to be tomorrow. They changed it. It's now probably going to be Wednesday next week, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, because of the 2-day government shutdown. Or like the 4 or 5 technical days, but only 2 weekdays. They pushed it back a week. Freaking BLS, bro. Come on now. 3 minutes to the report. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Put it 2x speed. We appreciate it. We do have 3 minutes left. 3 minutes. Okay, there's the NASDAQ. There's gold. Silver. See what we get. Again, here's the NASDAQ. Silver. Here we go, guys. VIX is getting close. Yeah, it was almost at 21 earlier for the VIX. Again, 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes. Again, 2.5 minutes. Let's see what we get. Put it in sub-only mode. Silver charts vile. Yeah, it's down a lot. Again, 2 minutes left, chat. The last song was called Balling. If you're talking about the other one, it's called Almighty by Cushy. Made so much trading silver, up, down, crashes. Yeah, I mean, silver's wild swing. NASDAQ's slowing down a little bit ahead of jobless claims, though. All right, guys, we got less than 2 minutes here. My timer's a little bit early, but that's all right. Again, last jobless claim showed up at 209. A decrease of 1,000 from the previous week. This time it's expected at 212. And higher jobless claims means more people filing for unemployment. It's weaker for jobs. The higher jobless claims number is. And so again, the higher claims are, the weaker jobs are. So that's what to understand. Higher claims, weaker jobs. Again, expected at 212 today. Previous was 209. We have 1 minute left exactly. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed and you'll catch up to the stream. Here we go. About 40 seconds left. All right, guys. Again, here's the NASDAQ on the left. Silver on the right. Yeah, Robin has been crashing down too. Again, 20 seconds left. About 20 seconds. Here we go. Again, I don't know how much this is going to move markets. I think JOLTS is going to have a bigger influence than jobless claims today. It drops in about 10 seconds, guys. About 10 seconds. And hit the live button. Put it 2x speed. About 5 seconds now. 3, 2, 1. And here's the report. Again, expected at 212. Waiting for jobless claims. It showed up at 231,231K for jobless claims. 231,000 versus 212 expected. Way higher unemployment claims expected. 231 versus 212 expected. Again, very weak. Jobless claims. 231 versus 212. Very, very weak number here. And again, we're going to break down. Man, 231,000. Surprised the market's not going down more on this. This is a bad report. Again, this is weak for sure. Man. And jobless claims 231. NASDAQ is reacting negatively to this report. Again, a very weak number here, 231,000. Again, we can take a look at this report that just dropped, but man, 231K. NASDAQ did fall down a little bit. I think JOLTS is going to have a bigger influence. This is not good. Again, jobless claims. 231K, an increase of 22,000 from the previous 209, which was unrevised. Yeah, that's a high number here. Yeah, what did initial claims show up as? Or no, what did continuing claims show up as? Continuing claims are up 25,000 as well to 1.844 million. A very weak number for jobless claims. Again, it showed up. I love you. I love you. Air hug. Have a good day. Yeah, that's actually a really bad number for jobless claims. It might make yields go down a little bit though, because it does show weakness in labor. But yeah, again, 231,000. 231K. Very weak here. And again, we do have the JOLTS job opening report later on today. The NASDAQ honestly kind of reacting positively to this. Maybe this means earlier cuts is how the markets could be digesting this. Again, we had Challenger job cuts earlier that showed weak numbers, weakest January numbers for Challenger job cuts since November of 2009. And then today's jobless claims report spiked 231 versus previous 209 and forecast of 212. So the market is digesting this as a positive win. Again, maybe the market wants rate cuts, guys. Good is bad, bad is good scenario right now could be causing this. So again, let me look at yields right now, because again, the only story I could really see here is that markets want rate cuts. And again, yields are, let's see. Yeah, yields are dropping, which shows a lower interest rate sentiment. So look at yields fall down. Yields are at 4.24% right now. Yields have fallen down some. Let's see if we can get a close chart here. Take a look at it. But yeah, jobless claims. Again, way weaker than expected for jobs. 231 versus 212 forecast and 209 previously. And again, you can kind of see yields, which interest rates and yields follow each other, are dipping down pretty substantially here. So weak jobs, weak jobs. And silver up to 77. Silver is benefiting from this. Gold at 4,800s here. Let's see what Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin wants easing, so I'm assuming Bitcoin's going to go up from this. I think Bitcoin does want easing. So the weaker jobs numbers are the more justification in easing this year. And so again, I'm assuming Bitcoin actually is going to react positively, and it did to this report. So again, the report came out here, and Bitcoin has bounced up on this report. Now remember, this is the smallest report we have today in terms of jobs. We do have the JOLTS job opening report going live at 10 o'clock this morning. So again, we have JOLTS job opening report going live at 10 o'clock today. A wise man once said, good is bad and bad is good. What if good is bad and bad is bad? Is that good? Not going to say Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, this move is small, all things considered. But again, Bitcoin did react a little positively to it. Sometimes the first move is the wrong move, though. But the NASDAQ has reacted well to this. So has Bitcoin. So has gold, honestly. So. Yeah, I'm still not feeling 100%, but I'm getting there. Again, silver. Testing 77s here for silver. Help a man out. I had 200,000 and now I lost 40K in 1 week. Support and give me a motivational speech. So you want support and a motivational speech. Let's think. This is probably the greatest motivational speech of all time. But stop being dumb, bro. Scale down your size. Stop risking crazy percentages of your account for stupid things, bro. Stop it. Cut it out. Here's to you. That's your motivational speech for the day, brother. Honestly, that's what you need to hear right now. You're welcome. Scale down your size, bro. 40, like, that's a huge percentage of your account, dude. You know, you risk 20% of your account trading, stop it. Huh? You know? Like, cut it out, man. Stop trading that large, bro. Scale down your size, dude. Stop trying to look cool, you know? That's what you need to hear, really. That's what I would want to hear if I was doing that. Yeah, the greatest motivational speech of all time. Top 3 for sure. All right, guys. All right. Does the market bounce back today? Put a yes or no in chat right now. Does the market bounce back? Yes, it does bounce back. No, okay, no. Most people think no, it's not going to bounce back. No, nah, flat, yes, gold, no, yes. Again, vote in the poll. What's it time to buy right now? So far, 39% of you guys out of 1,200 votes say it's time to buy Bitcoin. Is it time to buy Bitcoin right now? You know, I hear so many different price predictions for Bitcoin. They're like, no, 60K is the bottom, 50K is the bottom, 45K is the bottom, 70K bottom. Yes, no, maybe so. Yeah. Again, history doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes. Mark Twain, they think. Again, I'm going to go back to my favorite quote that I said yesterday. The truth is like poetry, and most people effing hate poetry. Again, according to Revio Labs, U.S. January non-farm payrolls fell 13% month over month. Again, Revio Labs just reported this. I'm not saying it's accurate, but again, they think U.S. January non-farm jobs fell 13.3K month over month, according to Revio Labs. Again, more weakness in labor sentiment. Again, crypto markets have now erased $1 trillion in market cap since January 14th. That's down $1 trillion in market cap in 22 days, averaging 45 billion decrease per day. Again, the January jobs report is delayed to next week. I believe it's coming out on Wednesday. And yields have decreased a little bit after weak jobs numbers today. Yeah, I don't like poetry. I'm not like an artsy guy. It seems like a waste of time to me. No offense. If you like poetry, live your life. You know, I hope you're the top 3 best poet ever. I'm definitely the top 3 worst. Again, silver rejecting right at the 200 exponential here. Let me day trade a little bit. All right. Again, a lot of platforms have restricted gold, silver, natty gas, copper, palladium, and more. Precious metals and metals getting restricted heavily right now. Again, volatility is here. NASDAQ, silver both coming down substantially right now. Look at NASDAQ and silver. Again, the Bank of America Consumer Checkpoint says January 31st total card spending was down 3.2% year over year. The prior week it was up 6.6%, and the slowdown was most likely due to the winter storm. $49,000 for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has bottomed at previous cycle highs before it broke below last cycle, so I'd say buy some, but don't go all in. AI and computer stuff. Again, the story of the day in software, guys, is simple. Story of the day in software is that AI is eating software. How? Why? Because I can go to AI and say, yo, build me a software that does this, this, and this right now. You know, if you're one of those people that are going to say, well, it can't build the whole thing for you, sure it can't. But you could also say, hey, walk me through the steps in publishing this application, the software application, and it'll walk you through those steps. Super easy to do now. Because of that, margins in software are going to be decreasing. At least it's the thesis a lot of people are putting out today. You've seen software stocks decline Microsoft down to 406. Microsoft's down a very large percentage relative to where it was. I think it's down like 26% or 25% or something like that. Microsoft down. Alphabet had high capex yesterday at $185 billion on the year for 2026. But people are worried about where that money's going. We did have AMD correct. Very large, down to under 200s. Maybe it's AMD that's down 26%. I have to look at where it was. But AMD's down big. And, yeah. Bro, go tell it to make a video game? Yeah, I mean, I might as well tell it to make me a time machine at this point. But again, software fears are here. Again, gold, silver down, NASDAQ down. And here's the NASDAQ. See if this holds, but if we get up to this 200 EMA at 900s, I will short right here. So I'm looking to short this if we get up there on the NASDAQ. A lot of stuff's restricted though. AMD's close to 30s. Too much noise. Bro, I still don't understand how just major tech stocks in the SPY are down so heavily, but the SPY is only down to 2 to 3%. Because the SPY is less tech centered than the NASDAQ. The SPY is the S&P 500 ETF. It's like a 3 times leveraged S&P 500 ETF, right? So the NASDAQ is much more tech heavy than the S&P is, or the Dow is especially, right? So NASDAQ's going to be down more than the S&P, even though tech stocks might be down, right? So the NASDAQ is going to be down more than the S&P. Tech is what's weak right now. So. People moving out of growth stocks into value stocks. Yeah, I see that as well. I was hopeful after seeing less than a 5% move in silver yesterday. Now it's down 12% overnight. Yeah, and the drops are happening at like 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, when none of us are up. I start my stream at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm not awake at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And so, yeah, I mean, we're just seeing some scary stuff. Markets. Again, if you look above me right here, nothing is green. Literally nothing. Bitcoin down, ETH down, NASDAQ down, Euro down, Dow down, S&P down, gold down, silver down. So, cheers to a red market right now. Yeah. I'm sure Soxel, yeah, Soxel is down as well. What's the short one? Is it SOXS? Yeah, this one's green. Broadcom. Yeah, I'm looking for the 200 exponential at 24,900 or so, but I don't know if we're going to get it. Bonds are green. Yeah, I mean, bonds are going up because yields are going down because of weak labor, right? So bond prices and bond yields inverse each other. So if yields go down, bond prices go up, right? So if we look at like TLT or something, it's up today, I'm sure. Yeah, it's up today because bond prices and yields inverse each other. And what's causing the lower interest rate sentiment, interest rates and yields follow each other. So if we have weak jobs numbers means we're probably going to have a lower interest rate sentiment, depending on what kind of report it is, at least a small reaction in sentiment. And so an example of this is weak jobs, Challenger job cuts high, jobless claims higher than expected. Revio Labs thinks payrolls are going to drop 13.3K over the month. So a lot of weak job sentiment means what? It means maybe we'll have a bigger argument for more cuts this year, which means a lower interest rate sentiment. And again, yields and interest rates follow each other. So interest rate sentiment's going down, which means yields are going down. If you look at yields, they are going down, which means bond prices, which inverse yields, are going to go up, which you can see TLT is going up, right? It seems complicated, but when you understand it, it's actually pretty simple. Bitcoin may never recover. Creators. Bro, nobody knows who created Bitcoin. Again, I'm going to give you another Big Short quote. And I might butcher the quote. But the quote goes something like, it's not what you don't know that hurts you. It's what you know for sure that just isn't so. Right? So point is, nobody knows in Bitcoin. We're at 69,000 for Bitcoin now, if we hold. I'd post that discerning candlestick pattern, like the ever so classic bullish engulfing, provides a statistically significant edge in predicting short-term price movements. Yeah, that's probably true. I like the bullish engulfing. I like hammer candles as well. I'll stay on the sidelines for some time and wait. JOLTS is at 10 a.m. today, guys. 10 a.m. So we got an hour and 15 minutes. We put a timer up. I got you guys. Hold on. I don't know what this song is saying. Hold on. Much time? We got about an hour and 12 minutes. Oh. All right, so yeah, JOLTS in an hour and 12 minutes, guys. The traffic light is green. You walk. I have learned so much about life, never mind trading, from this channel. I would say, you know, when it comes to teaching about life, I'm in the top 3 greatest teachers. That's what I would say, you know. I'm like Tom Hanks, okay. I'm like Morgan Freeman. Again, BMO targets S&P 500 at 7380 by the end of this year. They see a 26-year end target at just under 7400 for the S&P, implying about an 8% expected return this year. They remain bullish despite macro uncertainty, citing strong global monetary and fiscal stimulus. BMO favors cyclical sectors, industrials, materials, energy, and financials, while underweighting defensive such as consumer staples, healthcare, real estate, and utilities. Inflation remains the main risk. Yeah. Enjoy the volatility. I enjoy it, honestly. It makes the stream more fun. Might be red in some stuff, but you know, the stream makes it a little bit better. All right, guys. NVIDIA, I think, is interesting right now. NVIDIA is at the center of this fear. And again, you can kind of see NVIDIA is one of the most heavily weighted stocks. Look how similar NVIDIA and the NASDAQ look today. So again, AI is the center of this fear right now. AI, software, markets. Look how similar these two look. NASDAQ down, NVIDIA down. I believe NVIDIA is the most heavily weighted stock in the stock market, if I remember correctly, right? In the NASDAQ, NVIDIA is number 1 in terms of weight, I think. Let me see. I believe that NVIDIA is number 1. Let me make sure. Companies by weight. Yeah, NVIDIA is number 1. It makes up 12.7% of the NASDAQ 100. 12.7%. Apple is number 2 at 12.1%. Microsoft's number 3 at 9%. Amazon's number 4 at 7.36%. Google's number 5 and 6 for Class A and Class C shares. Meta's number 7, and then Broadcom is number 8. Tesla number 9. So a lot of blood in the markets. Time to buy is when blood is running in the streets, and they always forget the last part of it, including your own, is the last part of that quote. You know, people always reference time to buy is when blood is running the streets. They miss the second part, which is they follow it up with time to buy is when blood is running in the streets, even if it's your own. Rothschild, I think. The government put out a statement that said the Trump administration is going to strip job protections from 50K federal workers, according to a government statement. They finalized U.S. civil service overhaul. Again, the jobs report is not coming out tomorrow anymore. It's coming out next Wednesday. CPI next Friday. Is it Buffett? I don't think it's Buffett. Buffett might have repeated it in one way, but why are commodities down? Which commodities? I mean, oil, gold, silver, copper, palladium, all that stuff's down. Metals are down. They crashed overnight. Again, we were talking about this earlier, but again, most of this stuff is down. Just in terms of fears, like a lot of this stuff is down. Let me find it. Hold on. Overnight, silver dumped again. They call it a broader post-crash unwind. Stronger dollar, easing geopolitical stuff, and thin liquidity for some profit taking and deleveraging. Dollar pushed to a near 2-week high. Geopolitical tensions, especially U.S.-Iran tensions, eased. Removed some of the panic hedge bid that ran gold and silver higher. After last week's big spike, silver remained heavily speculative and illiquid, making big moves. And so we had a huge move down to, 70 for silver. But then we popped all the way back up to 90s, and people thought maybe the crash was over in silver. And then this morning, early this morning, we dropped all the way down to 75s again. So analysts are essentially framing this on silver as a continuation of the same Kevin Warsh, at new FOMC chairman, hawkish fears, higher real rates, shocked the initial, markets, including silver. But yeah, big drops this morning for silver. Is the NASDAQ up to that level that I wanted to buy it at? No, maybe I should have shorted earlier. I still gotta wait here, guys. I'm in Netflix. I want it to go up. And I think Netflix is going to be a little more resilient, even though it is a software. But I think it might be a little bit more resilient than some of these other ones. I don't think people can produce their own software. You actually can build a Netflix clone pretty easily, but the licensing and the production is what makes Netflix good. So the ECB, European Central Bank president, in a post-meeting statement says updated assessment confirms that inflation should stabilize at target in the medium term. The economy remains resilient despite challenges, and that they're going to follow a data-dependent meeting-by-meeting approach. Rate decisions are going to be based on inflation outlook and risks in light of incoming data and underlying inflation. Outlook is still uncertain due to ongoing global trade policy uncertainty and geopolitical tensions. They said low unemployment, balance sheets, defense spending, and impact of past cuts underpin growth. So this is Lagarde. Again, give me a follow on x.com at Beginner Trades. At Beginner Trades. We cover all this stuff, breaking news live as soon as it drops. Silver did wreck a lot of people. All right, guys. NASDAQ back up here. And again, we had the guy that said he lost 20K or 40K, 20% out of 200,000. And he wanted me to give him a motivational speech. Just to add to that, guys, listen. I know the cool thing to do on the internet is to take wild gambling risks in markets, right? I know that's the cool thing to do. It's not sustainable. It's just not. All right, you can look at blackjack as an example. In order to make swings like that, you better have a big account. Making 20% swings in any account is not sustainable. You will eventually destroy your account, despite how cool you might look doing it. All right, and so I know that's kind of what's marketed and advertised to traders, but those are some wild risks. Wild risks. So just be smart. Don't take crazy big percentages. Play it like in blackjack. The more buy-ins you have, the safer you are, right? In card counting and blackjack, you got to look at it in a similar way. Which is, in order to make big swings like that of 20K, you need a much larger account than 200,000. Or a 40K, you need a much larger account than 200,000. And again, I know that's not what's advertised to traders because it's not the most exciting way to look at it, but it's the truth. So. Altcoin, I did not realize Bitcoin was down so hard today. Yeah, Bitcoin is down. But again, Bitcoin's going up a little bit. Bitcoin benefits from easing sentiment, right? So Bitcoin's going to go up the more easing we might potentially do this year. Generally, not always. There's outlier situations. But again, Bitcoin has gone up from the jobs report. Jobs report came out right here. And Bitcoin is back to the top of the range. Again, 70,000 right here I think is interesting. But they'll try to sell silver at market value and then lowball you when you try to sell. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of arbitrage generally, though. That's how it goes. Again, Lagarde says planned fiscal spending boost could drive up growth by more than expected. Friction in international trade could disrupt supply chains and weaken exports, and outlook for inflation is more uncertain than usual. All right, guys. Again, we do have, today specifically, we do have JOLTS job openings at 10 o'clock. Again, JOLTS job openings at 10 o'clock today. Big report. It's a bigger report than jobless claims. And if it shows weakness, and again, in JOLTS, chat, lower is worse. The JOLTS is kind of the opposite of jobless claims. Jobless claims, the higher it is, the more people file for unemployment, the weaker jobs are. People hear JOLTS job openings reports and immediately assume it's like jobless claims, which is like higher means more unemployment. And that's not the case. Higher means more hiring. So it means more expansion in businesses and more hiring. So higher number for JOLTS is stronger for the labor market. Lower number for JOLTS is weaker than the labor market. And again, this is a bigger report than jobless claims. So we get at 10 o'clock today in about an hour. Guys, I put $20 in Bitcoin. It's going to go up now. Listen, man, you might be rich in like 300 years, bro. Good luck, dude. No? Lagarde says stronger euro could push inflation further below the goal. Inflation could turn out to be higher if there's a persistent upward shift in energy. Again, Eli Lilly is down on Reuters report of a Hims and Hers $49 pill. I'm in Hims right now. You love to see it. Again, Eli Lilly down on this news. Eli Lilly's been obscenely high, though, in price lately. $300 years of generational wealth. That's right, bro. That's right. I mean, we might all be cyborgs by then, but listen, that's right. All right, guys, look at Eli Lilly dump. Again, NASDAQ still looking bleak. I think we could have two scenarios at the opening bell. We could have the opening bell save us from this bear action, or we could have it exacerbate this bear action. Which one is it? Bullish or bearish for the opening bell? Let me do another poll here. We got Bitcoin is the winner of what should you buy today. I'm not telling you to buy it. The chat is. I'm not liable. But again, if you look at the poll, Bitcoin, 39% of people here said it's time to buy Bitcoin. Are they correct? Let me know. We're going to do a poll. Are you bullish or bearish for the opening bell today? All right. Are you bullish or bearish for the opening bell? Vote on the poll. Let me know what you guys think. Again, microchips slumping, software slumping. Nvidia down, NASDAQ down. What do you think? I really don't know what we're going to get today. I genuinely don't know. I think you could. I don't think anybody knows. People could speculate. And of course, if they're right, they're going to act like a genius, even though they got a 50-50 shot. It's basically a coin flip. The reality of it is we don't know who's going to pick up control at the open. We really don't. Again, if we start to crack lows, we could get some fear. And again, with that said, look at Nvidia drop right now. The 9 a.m. scrum kind of orders pick it up. Lagarde continues to speak. Again, Amazon earnings after the bell today. Lagarde says a stronger euro could push inflation further below the goal. JP Morgan says Bitcoin is more attractive than gold long term. Again, something happened with Nvidia just now. Let me see if I can figure it out. Again, look at Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin making a run back up too. Again, more easing is more optimistic for Bitcoin, I think. Again, yields continue to fall, showing a lower interest rate sentiment, which is more easing, which is probably good for Bitcoin after weak jobs data basically universally today. Again, Bitcoin's tapping 70,000 right now. We're right at 70K. Again, we got the opening bell in less than 30 minutes. Lagarde says the ECB decision was unanimous. That's better than the Bank of England decision. Bitcoin tapped 70,000 again. I can tell you right for a fact that general sentiment right now is very cautious, but also ready for another breakout. I saw that shorts have made 300 billion since January, first shorting software, and they doubled down yesterday. It's a trap. It's a bear trap. Yeah, looking at the poll so far, bears are winning 65% to 35%. Again, bears are ahead right now in this poll. Let's see what we get, man. Let's see what we get. It's an interesting morning. Again, Bitcoin now over 70,000 here, over 70K. Made the poll. I'm not a bear, but I voted for the Bears. I've offered my thoroughly researched advice 3 times. The rest is up to y'all. Yeah, the chat's been kind of wild today. It's been, you know, had a lot of people here just kind of talking about stuff. Bitcoin over 70K here. Nasdaq rebounded. Nvidia rebounded. Again, Lagarde on the risk assessment says risks are broadly balanced. Some risks have ticked up and others have ticked down. Risks are broadly balanced. Nvidia is going to delay new gaming chip due to memory shortage, according to the information. But this news just dropped. This is what's causing... What's up, Tony? What's up from Cali? Hey, what's up, man? Houston, Texas here. I'm a Louisianian at heart, though. Go Tigers. You know? I believe in the Saints next year, too. Saints are going to do it. Got Shuck. I believe in the Saints next year. They're not going to be the Aints next year. They're going to be the Saints. Yeah, the news that we just saw drop this morning. Again, we got this news earlier. Again, Nvidia is going to delay new gaming chips due to memory chip shortage, according to the information. No, JOLTS report is today. The labor report is next week. The JOLTS report is today. The labor report got pushed to Wednesday of next week. It was supposed to come out tomorrow. It's now coming out Wednesday next week. So that's what it is. Again, they got delayed. Again, SanDisk not really reacting to the... Are you making all the gamers mad? Yeah. Nvidia making all the gamers mad. Also saying they won't release a new chip this year. Yeah, I'm seeing all this. Nvidia is going to delay gaming, according to the information. Again, crypto markets have gone down 1 trillion in market cap since January 14th. But yeah, basically, they're not going to release a new graphics chip for gamers this year. They're also slashing production of their current line of gaming chips, which is the GeForce RTX 50 GPUs because of the memory shortage, or GPUs, sorry, because of the memory shortage. So we're seeing that news drop. And again, you can kind of see Nvidia ultimately up a little bit from this release. The news came out about right here, but People are still fearful of markets, so we have the opening bell soon. All right, guys. So Trump just reiterated that they're getting along fantastically with Venezuela. Okay, just a question. Is fantastically a word? Fantastically. That's what I thought. Why did they say fantastically? Hopefully it's just an error by the source that I'm using. And again, this is not me saying fantastically. This is them saying fantastically. Fantastically. It's fantastically. All right, I gotta look it up if he actually said it. Could be just an error. So many ads. I don't see the quote himself. Yeah, the Bank of England decision-making panel said year-ahead expected own price inflation was 3.5% in the 3 months in January, 0.1 percentage point lower than firms reported in 3 months to December. All right, guys, we got the opening bell at 23 minutes. John, I wrote a poem for you. You know you didn't write that poem, bro. You went to AI, dude. Bearish on poems. You know? If there's one thing AI is definitely replacing, it's poem writers. 100%. No. MicroStrategy earnings today, yeah. Rappers honestly might be benefiting easier, you know? Like, I could tell AI to make me a rap and make me sound like a genius. Again, MicroStrategy, Amazon earnings today. This will be interesting. It'll be interesting. Curious to see what MicroStrategy does. Nvidia coming back down, though. It's at 174s. Fantastically is a real word. All right. I need to know. I think it autocorrects to fantastically. It doesn't even talk about fantasting with a G. So it's an informal, non-standard adverb like blending fantastic and amazingly to express an extreme superlative level of greatness, beauty, or enjoyment. As in fantastically fun, it is used to describe experiences or sights that are breathtaking or exceptionally wonderful. Now we know. Now we know. All right, guys, 20 minutes left, 20 minutes. Yeah, anti-disestablishmentarianism. If you break it down, look at Bitcoin coming back down. It's under 70,000. Yeah, anti-disestablishmentarianism just means you're against people that are against establishments. So basically, you're pro-establishment if it's anti-disestablishmentarianism. Anyways, NASDAQ or Bitcoin under 70,000. We're at 69.7 thousand for Bitcoin right now. NASDAQ is also turning down slightly here. I wanted to short this 200 exponential at 900s, but we just didn't get it. But again, we are going to day trade the opening bell live. We'll see what we get today. But yeah, Yeah, I'm looking for the 200 exponential. Bitcoin down. And I'm looking at gold and silver as well. They're kind of falling back down. Silver now under $75 an ounce for silver. It's under 75 an ounce. All right, so the president just just added a, quote, announcement at 7 p.m. to his schedule. OpenAI said they're introducing Frontier, a platform that helps enterprises build, deploy, manage AI agents that can do real work. Again, on October 6th, crypto markets hit a new record high market cap of 4.3 trillion. Today, it's worth only 2.3 trillion. It lost 2 trillion worth of market cap in 4 months in Bitcoin and crypto. Again, with that said, Bitcoin under 70,000 as of now. It's 70. What about 69,800 right now? We're honestly pretty flat heading into the opening bell. Maybe the market's waiting for JOLTS. But, again, looking at our poll, the bears win at 58%. There's 42. Yeah, Microsoft has gotten slumped. Again, Microsoft, looking at a 10-day chart for Microsoft. Again, this thing was at 485s. 485s. Currently, Microsoft is down to about 405s. So 485 down to 405 for Microsoft. It's down 16.5%. 16.5% for Microsoft. AMD might be even worse. It was at about 267s prior to earnings. It's now down to $200 even. The percentage-wise, AMD is down 25% over the last week. 25% drop in AMD over the last week. Microsoft's down almost 17%. And tech is just down pretty significantly overall. Silver's down a larger percentage than all of them. Again, silver was at 120s. I'll call it 121, even though it was almost 122. Again, silver was at 121s. It's now at 75. And so silver is down basically 40% from its highs over the last week. Now again, here's a 10-day chart for silver. 40% drop. Silver from its highs over the last week. Again, Bitcoin over the last week, if we look at it, Bitcoin, if we take a look at Bitcoin over the last week, which would be about right here, Bitcoin was at about 90,000. Now it's 70,000. So a very large percentage drop for Bitcoin as well. So again, Bitcoin from 90 down to 70 is a 22% drop in Bitcoin price in the last week. Again, the Nasdaq is down about 6% over the last week or so. So tough time. And again, we're heading into the opening bell today. And the JOLTS job opening report goes live at 10 a.m. today. That's the next big story, and it'll probably have more influence than today's jobless claims report. So, yeah, Robinhood. Yeah, dude, Robinhood. Scarier than maybe all of them. Robinhood just in the last week has dropped from 111s all the way down to $76 right now. Robinhood is down 31.5%. If we look at the previous highs for Robinhood, which were at 150s, Robinhood's down what? That's like 50%. Yeah, 50%. The Robinhood is down 50% from its highs back in September and October, down 30+% in the last week for Robinhood stock. So, again, we'll see what happens. We're at $74 silver. Nasdaq looking scary too. 24/7s. Again, we're going to be day trading the opening bell live. We'll see what we get today, but kind of a scary day. Again, looking at our poll, we asked bull or bearish. Bears are in control today. Buy puts on the day. Oracle is the scariest. I bought the Oracle dip. This is the dip that just keeps on dipping. And honestly, I'm really not down that much net. Yeah, Oracle is the scariest. Oracle in September was $3.45 a share. It's now down to $1.44. So again, Oracle was $3.45 in September. Now down to $1.44. Oracle's down almost 60% from September. Again, Lagarde's still speaking. The president just tweeted that Iran is negotiating. Let's take a look at oil. Oil's falling down on more stability, less scarcity potential from potentially negotiating Iran news. And again, Nvidia warns that Trump's China chip rules would hurt export plans, according to the Wall Street Journal as well. So more fear in microchips. Yeah, Alphabet's down significantly as well. Earnings. Super high capex for AI though, but yeah, it's down. 185 billion spending on AI capex for 2026. And Nvidia down to under 175s. Well, today specifically, it's not down that bad. But if we look at the last week, is what a lot of people are looking at. Gold and silver, number one, are down big, even just today. Bitcoin's down today. But when we look at things in the context of the last week, that's when things get a little bit more bleak looking. Big percentage drops. Nasdaq's down 6%, which is not small, despite what it sounds like relative to some of these other stocks. AMD is down huge percentages, 25%. Microsoft is down 16%. Companies are down right now, tech stocks specifically. So the S&P Dow might not be down as much, but the Nasdaq, scary. Right now. Yeah, hey, nice work, Sam. Saying I told you so is good. I say it all the time. Yeah. Yeah, AMD got whacked. Coinbase is going to be down just because Bitcoin's down, though. All right, guys, opening bell in 11 minutes. 11 minutes. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. It's a scary day. We got JOLTS later on today, too. Definitely a scary day. AMD sucks. Yeah, AMD's scary, too, man. AMD has been on a wild swing, though. I haven't wanted to buy AMD specifically just because when you look at AMD, put up a yearly chart on AMD, this thing went from $100 to $260 last 12 months. So because of that, I just had it, like prior to this big pullback, I hadn't really wanted to buy AMD. We get a dip down to like here's, maybe I'll want to buy it, but I don't want to buy it. I didn't want to buy it before this drop. I don't really want to buy it now. I might cut my Oracle position though. I'm in Oracle right now. My average price is 160s. We're at 140s, which considering the last few weeks isn't the biggest loss, and it's very, very small position. I'm only down like $100 in it, but I'm thinking about cutting it just because fear. Question is Oracle a good long-term company? What do you guys think? The PE ratio is under 30. And here's Google. Nasdaq getting close to lows of the day ahead of the opening bell in 10 minutes. So we're getting really close here, guys. Really close. Again, jobless claims show up way higher than expected today. Jobless claims showed up at 231 versus 212. Way higher claims than expected. 10 minutes. No Oracle. Never let your fear decide your fate. Only dividend stocks. Yes, cut it. No, don't cut it. I don't know. Taking my hands into the open. I love this volatility. Yeah. It's the only bounce they got. Made my day's money before the bell. I know a guy that says net worth is 800 billion, says money can't buy happiness. It can't, but it definitely makes things easier. And stress causes unhappiness. And so if money can ease stress, yes. But if you have so much money in which you never have a moment's peace, then no, it just depends. Smart ones make their money and then chill. No. Ambition is good to a point, but spending your whole life working, just die later. I don't necessarily agree with that either. All right, guys. Again, gold. 48.30s here for gold. Silver. 73s. Buffett said don't buy stocks if you're not going to hold them for years and years. Well, yeah, that's probably true. I'm going to put a buy on Google. I think you also got to enjoy what you're doing. Oracle costs way too much compared to competition. Stocks aren't moving on fundamentals anymore. I think Oracle's good in the long run, though. Trump's getting into it about Massey, probably because I think Massey was one of the right senators, or House, not senators. Massey was in the House. He voted against the government reopening. I believe it was Massey. That was one of the Republican House members that voted against the government reopening earlier this week. So he's getting into it with him. He says, quote, no matter what we do this moron, there's something wrong with him, end quote. U.S. President. Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy. Again, silver, under $74 an ounce right now. NASDAQ's very close to this. We open up in 5 minutes, chat. 5 minutes. We have JOLTS job openings at 10 a.m. today. We'll see what that shows. It's expected today for JOLTS at 7.2 million. Higher is better for jobs. Lower is weaker for jobs. Michael Burry just tweeted about GameStop again. He said, bringing this up again, if GameStop can deploy a large amount of capital at such a point as this, more stocks bottomed in 08 than March 09. It will do far better than deploying capital in expensive markets. A bit more patience may be all it takes. Regarding GameStop, Michael Burry just posted this. GameStop's up a little bit on this, not a lot. You can see a little green candle from GameStop from this, but all right, NASDAQ, again, at lows here of the day here. We are going to be day trading the opening bell live. We'll see what we can get today. We are going to be day trading live at the open. See. Will John open Discord? I can, bro. I think I closed a lot of stuff down ahead of the economic reports. I'm opening it. Hold on. Oh, I see the AI, yeah, from Tony. John is legendary, top 3 in the race, setting a frantic and profitable pace. Admire the man and his trading device. But this isn't meant to be money advice. I love it, love it. I'm gonna make a rap about that and charge you guys $1,000 a minute to listen to it. All right, guys, NASDAQ at 24/7s. 24/7s on the NASDAQ here. A lot of puns to be had there, I guess. Again, Lagarde says it will take some time to see how that impacts productivity and inflation regarding investment boom is related to AI and everything related to AI. So it's going to see some time before Gonna take some time to see how it impacts productivity and inflation regarding AI. I can afford RAM. I think I have 32 on this computer, because I don't think you really need more than 32 what I'm doing. But if I had justification in buying it, I can, because it reduces my taxable income, you know. But still, I think I have 32. All right, guys, 3 minutes left. 3 minutes. Yeah, it's been wild today for sure. Are you guys green or red today? Let me know. Looking at our poll, Bears are in control at 58%. Bears, 42% Bulls. Here we go. The opening bell is here. Bitcoin. Again, getting close to lows as well, although we did bounce over 70 for a little while. You know, the jobs data coming out being weak kind of shows more optimism maybe in Bitcoin and easing potential forward. Jim Cramer just tweeted, let Google come in and then start your buying. Have half on by end of day in case tomorrow is a clearing day. Many good takeaways about Apple last night. End quote. Jim Cramer. Is that bad? Let me know. Alright, so I asked people if they're red or green. Yeah. Yeah, I only have two RAM sticks. I'm not going to try to put 4 in there. Causes instability. Green or red. I see a lot of people that say they're flat today. They're just kind of waiting, and I kind of agree with that sentiment. I think we got the opening bell in 1 minute. We got JOLTS job opening at 10 o'clock today, guys. So remember, JOLTS report 10 a.m. today. Be ready. This is not small. This is a big report relative to what we've seen. Again, jobless claims were high, and that's leading into today's JOLTS. So, again, just be ready. Get opening bells here in less than a minute, guys. Less than 1 minute. Let's see what we get. I'm going to trade today. Do not copy me. I'm not an investment professional. I'm not liable if you lose money. Again, do not copy me today. I am not an investment professional. Be careful. Be careful. Here we get. No trades. Yeah, I get it. All right, here we go. 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Let's see what we get today. Again, JOLTS going live in 29 minutes. Market, you're going to go the other way. Bull or bear at the open? Give me your last minute predictions. Here's the opening bell. Bloodbath time. John's going to crash the market. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to say it's my fault, but my stream started. There's the opening bell. My stream started right here. There's the open. Let's see what we get. NASDAQ falling down right at the opening bell, getting close to lows of the day here. Let's see if we get some swings. NASDAQ testing lows of the day at the opening bell here. Just cracked a major support level here. Tapped lows. Didn't quite break lows of the day. Looks like we're going to break it now. Just crack lows of the day on the NASDAQ. Falling down to 24.7s. Under 24.7s here. Again, we're down to 690s right now. 690s. We might get a liquidity grab at this bottom, though. Let's see. Blame John? I mean, reasonable. I don't know whose fault it is, but it's definitely my fault. Again, big liquidity grab happening after this low of the day break here. Again, NASDAQ cracked lows. Gold and silver are a little bit more quiet. I'm looking at NVIDIA. NVIDIA's actually moving up a little bit. AMD's moving up a little bit. Google's falling down still at 307s right now. Microsoft's fading down a little bit as well here. So I kind of want to short this, but it's just a little bit too early for me to trade. I got to wait 4 or 5 minutes at least. SNDK SanDisk. Coinbase popping up a little bit right now. Bitcoin now over 70,000. Look at Bitcoin. Over 70K. Coinbase bouncing back. We do have MicroStrategy earnings today, or strategy, I should say. NASDAQ just cracked lows again. Under 24/7s here on the NASDAQ, guys. Under 24/7s. This drop. Eesh. Again, we do have JOLTS. 10 o'clock today. Again, JOLTS job report. Again, we are bouncing higher here. I gotta wait a little while. Big rebound here, guys. Big rebound. Look at that pop. All right, we are now 3 minutes into the day. Again, you can kind of see Microsoft and some tech are starting to bounce back some here, but it's not. Bitcoin is bouncing back. Alphabet's rebounding. AMD is not, though. AMD is at 196s right now for AMD. Again, 196s for AMD, guys. Y'all be careful. Again, be careful. Kind of scary right now. Oof. Okay, y'all be careful. A little bit scary of a day today, chat. NASDAQ is a little flat, though. Again, maybe we're waiting for the JOLTS report. I really don't know. Again, we do have JOLTS live today. All right, so we're seeing a little bounce back in AMD and others. I am going to day trade. I just got to wait a minute. I'd like to get this 200 exponential up here. So I want a continuation, but we need a bounce first. If Bitcoin doesn't clear 700 or 70K. Yeah, look at Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin's up a little bit since the opening bell. It's not a crazy amount, but it's over 70,000, which again, psychologically is good. Ahead of MicroStrategy earnings. Alphabet is helping drive this move right now. So again, Alphabet and Google are up right now if we look at it. And there's Google at 315s. 315s. Again, we have the JOLTS report in 25 minutes. Amazon bouncing back. Yeah, they have earnings today. Coinbase bouncing back. Bitcoin bouncing back. There's the 200 EMA. I guess I'll play this here. Hold on. Kind of missed it, but that's all right. We're in. I'll add a little bit higher up there, see if that rejection. Look at that clean rejection. All right, we're out. Clean rejection, 200 exponential. I barely caught it. Honestly, I didn't realize we had bounced up that much. I shorted it right around here. Barely caught it, but very quick money there. Very quick money. Yeah, I'm in Netflix. 8250s. Again, Alphabet at 316s. JOLTS will send it back down. Maybe, yeah. We got 25 minutes before JOLTS. Look at that 200 exponential rejection, guys. I sound like a broken record, but look at this. Easy money. Easy money. I'm not telling you it's easy. Do not copy me. All right, guys. Let's see if this continuation trend continues. The downside. Perhaps. Bull or bear right now, guys? Are you bullish or bearish? Yeah, 200 EMA. Easy bull, bear. I am clueless, bearish. Our polar bears are winning. 58%. Steve the bear. I don't know if y'all can see Steve right now. I'd be able to. There's Steve. Hey there. He's cool. He's not as cool as that guy up there, but that's Steve right there. He's cool. Yeah. The guy on the top's definitely cooler, but hey, Steve's pretty cool. All right, guys, we're getting back up closer to that 200 exponential moving average. Let's see if we hold now. I don't know if I'm going to short it again. I don't like retests. I like the first one. I don't like the second one. Steve is the reason we're falling. Blame Steve. It's definitely his fault. Again, we're up to 850s right now on the NASDAQ. I kind of like it, though. Am I going to talk myself into this trade at 850s? Right here? No, I'm not. Okay, good. We're over it. I don't like it anymore. Good. We reject back underneath this level, then I might short. Right now, that doesn't look like it's happening here. NASDAQ up, 880s. Hey, later, Sam. Have a good day, brother. All right, guys, there's 900s. Again, the JOLTS job openings report, 10 a.m. today. Very big report. Like that, the bear market's over. I'm looking at 900. That's kind of like my line in the sand here. We can get over 900s, great. If not, and we reject underneath this, I might actually shoot. But there's 900s right now. Let's see if we break. Intel? What's Intel doing? Netflix is actually pretty green on the day. Yeah, we're seeing rotation out of tech. Or we're seeing rotation out of value stocks back into tech right now is what we're seeing. Again, Alphabet up. Bitcoin popping higher here. Bitcoin at 70,000+ again, so that's good psychologically for Bitcoin. Again, 20 minutes left until JOLTS. SanDisk and Micron are green. Yeah, SanDisk needed to bounce. It got rejected heavily from its highs from earnings. Again, the story of the day today, though, is Alphabet right now. Alphabet filling some of this gap. Was at 306, is at 323s about 10 minutes after the opening bell. But the story of the day is Alphabet for sure. Again, guys, I drew 24 nines here on the NASDAQ. And so we are rejecting that level. It's right around the volume weighted average price on the NASDAQ as well. And so again, JOLTS today, guys. JOLTS today in 20 minutes. JOLTS job opening reports a strength or weakness in jobs. This is basically how it's hiring, is what JOLTS is. JOLTS is hiring. So JOLTS job openings today is probably the biggest job report we get today versus jobless claims that came out earlier at 8:30. So JOLTS is larger than jobless claims. We'll see what it shows. Again, right now we're seeing Alphabet rebound. Alphabet is bouncing back here pretty strong at 324s as I speak. SanDisk up to 600 a share. And again, the NASDAQ bulls are in control right now. Again, bulls currently in control. Yeah, we have 20 minutes left until JOLTS, though. All right, so here's a rejection here. SanDisk pulling back, Netflix pulling back. Yields are lower after weak jobs numbers this morning. So we'll see if we get a continuation in that weak jobs data at 10. All right, so NASDAQ turning back down here. I could buy the 200 exponential right around here. I want to buy this dip. All right, we'll try it. But if the pullback's large, I don't like it. We got a cushion, so we can play with it. A little bit of a buyback here. There we go. About $100 green here. Look at that. I'm going to cut it right there. You love to see it. You love to see it. Very quick green trade right at the 200 exponential. 200 EMA, guys, right here. Easy money. We're not out of the woods yet. Well, yeah, it's still way too early. We're only 12 minutes after the bell. It doesn't mean anything yet. JOLTS could push us in either direction as well. So, yeah, it's definitely way too early. Again, JOLTS live, 10 o'clock. 17 minutes. Again, are you green or red from the open, guys? Are you green or red? Bears are still the majority voters on our poll. 58% are bearish. Let me know if you're green or red this morning. U.S.-European command says the U.S. and Russia agreed today in Abu Dhabi to reestablish high-level military-to-military dialogue. Spot palladium rises over 10%. NASDAQ still pushing here. Again, Alphabet up big. Silver rebounding to over 75 an ounce here. Gold still under 5K, but rebounding back up from its lows. Again, Bitcoin, one of the winners so far this morning, since the opening bell at least. It's still down on the day pretty heavily though. No trades, green just because of Intel. SanDisk, guys, up to 605s right now. So look at SanDisk here. SanDisk, 605s right now. Wild swings in a lot of these too, man. NASDAQ still popping higher here though. Look at the NASDAQ. Again, JOLTS in 15 minutes. Bitcoin is cooked till March. Red yesterday, today made it back. Added more green week. Hey, good job. Demo count? It counts enough. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Lockheed Martin doesn't care? Yeah, I mean, it's not really dependent on tech like a lot of other companies are. Memory prices have surged 80 to 90% quarter over quarter in quarter one of 2026, driven by steep gains in server DRAM and rising NAND and HBM3E costs, according to Counterpoint Research. Again, Alphabet pulling down a little bit. It's at 324s. SanDisk at 605s. MicroStrategy shares touch 16-month low ahead of quarterly results, down 5.8%. Then here, 5.8% for MicroStrategy, or strategy. I think I'll always say MicroStrategy. It's hard for me to just say strategy, especially if your symbol is MSTR. Yeah, strategy hit lows of 119. 119. NASDAQ creeping higher here, though. Look at this. JOLTS might reverse this big move. Yeah, I guess Fidelity is manipulating Bitcoin. Bitcoin is cooked till October. Tom Lee. Under 75 silver is a buy. Soxo, Nvidia starting to move up. Yeah, I mean, Nvidia's had some swings lately. It benefited from high Alphabet CapEx, $185 billion for 2026. SanDisk, guys, wow. SanDisk. 615s right now. Last time I looked at it like 2 minutes ago, it was 605s. Up $10 a share. Very soon. SanDisk pumping. S&P is not. Still creeping up at 928s on the NASDAQ, testing the recent highs over the last 20 minutes. Testing the opening bell high, I should say. Broke it for a split second, now it's pulling back down here. So again, 24.9 is kind of my level right now. I just gotta wait here though. Again, the JOLTS report in 12 minutes could influence this more. But I think I just gotta chill and wait. If we get some better price action right now ahead of JOLTS. But I accidentally clicked. Alright, guys. Lula says may go to Washington to meet the president in the first week of March. NASDAQ very choppy, very sideways. I think we're getting priced in for a potential JOLTS report move. Again, JOLTS job openings expected at 7.2 million for JOLTS job openings. 7.2 million. It drops in about 11 minutes. Again, higher JOLTS numbers is stronger for jobs. It's more expansion in the jobs market. More hiring and more jobs is a higher JOLTS report. It's not cuts, it's not layoffs, it's hirings in the labor market for JOLTS. It's expected to get at 7.2 million. 7.2 million in 10 minutes here, chat. 7.2 million. So, are you bullish or bearish on JOLTS today? Let me know. Are you bull or bear on JOLTS? We have 10 minutes left basically right now. Again, memory prices surged 80 to 90% quarter over quarter right now, driven by steep gains in server DRAM and rising NAND and HBM3E costs, according to Counterpoint. Deutsche Bank says Bitcoin sell-off signals a loss of conviction, not a broken market. Again, crypto market has now erased $1 trillion in market cap since January 14th. $1 trillion. January 14th. You guys agree with Deutsche? Bearish, and that's why the president wants to speak at 7 to defend it. Bitcoin coming right back down. Taking a few weeks, but just slowly trying to build. Hey, good job. Yeah. Rescued from the depths of despair. 54 socks will stop. 55 adjusted up. If you follow, you will lose. Yeah, Nvidia, again, has been going a little bit higher. It's probably, you know, a benefit of Google is a benefit of Nvidia right now because of high CapEx spending from Alphabet yesterday announced in their earnings report. So high spending on CapEx and AI benefits Nvidia because high spending is good for Nvidia, obviously, and AI in microchips. So yeah, Nvidia going up a little bit today. NASDAQ still breaking highs of the opening bell, at least. Not recent high, not big highs, but highs of the opening bell. And the NASDAQ still pushing up. It's at 24,950. 25,000 in the NASDAQ is right here. So I think that's a great milestone level to watch. It's 25K. It's right above us right now. We have less than 10 minutes until JOLTS report goes live. We have about 9 minutes left. Again, we will see what we get today for JOLTS. Again, we will see. Again, JOLTS live. 10 o'clock. It should move things, honestly. We should see some movement. Yeah, we had jobless claims show up at 31,000 at 8:30. 31,000 jobless claims. This is how many people are filing for unemployment. 31,000. Again, Nvidia has moved up a little bit. Alphabet has moved up since after the opening bell. SanDisk has moved up a ton, up to 615 still, 620 almost. We do have Amazon bouncing back some too after drops in tech stocks today, but the Nasdaq's starting to turn back down. We're seeing some corrections here ahead of JOLTS today, guys. Some corrections ahead of JOLTS. We are now down to 24,887. I'm not going to buy the 200 exponential, although I do think maybe we could chop leading into the JOLTS report. So this is the December JOLTS report, I believe. Let me make sure. Yeah, this is the December JOLTS job opening report. It's expected at 7.2 million. 7.2 million previously was 7.146 million. And again, higher is stronger for jobs. Lower is weaker for jobs. This is hiring essentially. Again, with that said, Bitcoin fading back down under 70,000 here for Bitcoin. Here's Bitcoin under 70K. Again, JOLTS expected today at 7.2 million. Higher is stronger for jobs. VWAP resistance on the 5-minute. 7 minutes. Bitcoin under 70. Nasdaq pulling back to that same 850, 200 exponential level we've been talking about. But 7 minutes, guys. Bitcoin is going to 60,000. Palantir is just correcting with AI right now. So Palantir has been dropping just broad corrections in AI. Again, Palantir, though, man, I mean, let's be honest here. Palantir has had a wild PE ratio for a long time now. You know, Palantir, you put up a weekly chart. 2024, Palantir went from $16 to $207. PE ratio sky high. So Palantir, you know, I'm not saying it needed to correct, but I think it's not crazy that it did. Palantir, again, 130s now. We'll see if it holds. Nasdaq moving very sideways ahead of JOLTS. Again, market might be waiting for JOLTS today at 10 o'clock, expected at 7.2 mil. Crypto each month, there's a crash. It's October 10 of October, 23rd of November, 14th and 15th of December, 31st of January. What's going on with crypto? Yeah. Are they actually going to release job numbers? So, Jeremy, if you're talking about the official government payroll, like employment report that we get once a month, it has now been moved to next Wednesday. So next Wednesday, it was supposed to be tomorrow. They have now, because the government was shut down for 2 weekdays, which is ridiculous. Come on, bro. Like, this is from last month. Anyway, dude, freaking release it. But because the government was shut down, you know, the shockingly high amount of days of 2 business days, they're now delaying the NFP report by a full week. Not a full week, actually, but still. They're delaying the report until next Wednesday now. CPI next Friday. But today's report is the JOLTS job opening reports. It's essentially hiring and jobs. Like how many businesses are hiring, what that looks like, so forth and so on, right? It's expected today at 7.2 million. Nasdaq's starting to come back down ahead of it, though. But again, I think we're seeing some chop in markets ahead of this report. It was Monday and Tuesday. Yeah, SanDisk is memory. And SanDisk is memory. And SanDisk up to 610s right now. Was at 620s. Bitcoin now under 70,000 here, chat. Again, Bitcoin is now under 70K at 69.6s. 4 minutes left until JOLTS. 4 minutes. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. JOLTS goes live in 4 minutes. Oh, let's see what we get here. I don't know. I really don't know what we're going to get. Nasdaq here. Nasdaq falling here ahead of JOLTS. All right, guys, 4 minutes. Had a good day to own PayPal and Novo. Again, 3.5 minutes left. Nasdaq breaking down here ahead of this report. ARM CEO says not to read too much into the licensing revenue miss. Has talked to SoftBank CEO and indicated not interested in selling any shares. Again, tech sell-off is starting to go more, though. We're starting to see some corrections here. All right, Chad, here we go. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. JOLTS expected at 7.2 million. Again, higher is stronger for jobs. Yeah, again, earlier we saw the market go up on a weaker jobs report for jobless claims. Jobless claims came out at 231,000. They only expected 212,000 unemployment claims. They should have at 231,000 unemployment claims, initial claims. And the market ended up going up from this report. Now, a lot of stuff's going on in markets. It's not just these job numbers that could be making the market go up or down. Bitcoin did go up from this report as well, but even Bitcoin falling quickly here, guys. Bitcoin down to 69.3s, getting ready to maybe test the lows of the day right now for Bitcoin. So, again, market might be a little nervous right now. Again, JOLTS report goes live in 2 minutes here. 2 minutes. Two minutes. About to test 21 all-time highs. Yeah, does the market want a higher or lower report here? We got a minute and a half for JOLTS. A minute and a half for JOLTS. NASDAQ's starting to flush down a little bit. Gold and silver do. Palantir just cracked lows again. Just kind of quiet. Gold. All right, here we go. About a minute left. 1 minute. Bad news is good news? Maybe. We kind of saw it earlier. Doesn't mean anything yet, but we kind of saw that sentiment earlier. Doesn't mean nothing yet, though. Again, look at the NASDAQ start to turn here. Here we go, guys. Less than a minute. We got about 50 seconds left. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it at 2x speed. Again, hit the live button next to the play button. Put it in 2x speed. Here we go, guys. 7.2 million is what's expected today. 7.2 million. Again, we had JOLTS come in last time at 7.14 million. Here we go. Again, 15 seconds, guys. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. Hit the live button next to the play button. Put it at 2x speed. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here's the report. 6.54 million, way lower than expected. Weaker for jobs. 6.54 million versus 7.2 million expected. They also revised the last one down to 6.928 million. So again, way weaker jobs data than expected here. Way weaker than expected here. Again, JOLTS showed 6.54 million job openings versus 7.2 expected. 6.54 million versus 7.6 expected. Again, job quit showed up at 3.2 million. Previously, it was 3.16. So weaker jobs than expected for sure here. Again, quits showed up at 3.2 million. Last time it was 3.16. So way weaker jobs data than expected. The NASDAQ is down. Again, the NASDAQ is down in this report. 6.54 million versus 7.2 million expected. They revised the last one down from 7.15 to 6.92 as well. And look at the NASDAQ turn down here. Again, way weaker jobs numbers than expected. Quits showed up higher than last time as well here. But again, look at the quits numbers. Quits numbers 3.204 million. Previously it was 3.16. The quits were higher, job openings were lower. And remember, this is expansion in businesses. It's hiring. So these are less hiring than expected here. And this is after challenger job cuts showed up earlier this morning at the greatest January level since 2009 for challenger job cuts. Weak jobs, jobless claims showed up at 231,000 here. 231,000, way higher than expected. One of the interesting reactions I'm showing here is Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin. This means more easing. Yield should be going down actually on this report for yields. Yeah, yields are tumbling down on this report, as they should be. It means potentially more easing potential because of weak jobs. But man, weak jobs numbers here, guys. Look at this. Look at yields. Yields are falling. NASDAQ is falling. Yeah, the JOLTS job opening report turned the market, guys. Turned the market. Again, look at the NASDAQ. Look at gold. Gold's falling. NASDAQ's falling here. Again, the JOLTS job opening report showed weakness here. Higher quits, less job openings. Again, higher quits and less job openings. And again, they said the number of job openings continued to trend down to 6.5 million in December. Over the month, both hires and total separations were little changed at 5.3 million, with separations or quits at 3.2. So, again, weak numbers, higher quits, less hirings and job openings. So, scary market, guys. Scary market. NASDAQ down. I'm surprised Bitcoin's dropping on this. I thought Bitcoin wanted easy. But look at Bitcoin right now. 68s. Getting 68s for Bitcoin. Yikes. Look at Bitcoin fall. Yeah, Bitcoin at 68s. Yeah, it's Thursday. We ain't got no jobs and we ain't got ish to do, but look at Bitcoin fall. Some of you guys understood that joke. Some of you guys don't. That's okay. Amazon breaking down. Man, Bitcoin tumbles below 69,000. Look at it. It's at 68.7s right now. 68.7s. Well, the market crack lows is very close. Like it will. Give it time. Looks like it wants to. Again, we're green on the day. I don't want to like risk too much here, but I think I got a short, right? Yeah, I don't want to risk too much, but I feel like I should short. All right, we'll try. I don't like short and low of the days, but I think maybe the momentum is a little bit more justifiable today on the downside. But who knows, man? We could just bounce and punish me. I'll give it a second. The range is so big. I got 2 micros and it's moving fast. Although SanDisk did just bounce here. Cut one of these just to protect it. Maybe we'll add to it if we go green. All right, we're green here, but again, we're not green by much. I'm gonna give it a second here. I think I just should maybe add some to this. Here we go. Right at lows. I just don't want to get a liquidity grab. I think the fear is definitely a little bit more obvious in markets right now. So let's see. I'm going to add to it. Then I'll get punished for adding to this. There we go. Take half off. Go. I'm going to keep holding this, I think. Maybe I can add more to it if I want. We're very green on the day. We got a very large cushion. Again, JOLTS report way weaker than expected for jobs. Could be more easing. Maybe stocks like that though. I thought Bitcoin might like it a little bit more. Again, Bitcoin 68s right now. And I'll add to this. There we go. Nice little flush down quickly here for me. Drop some more. Another half off. There. Alright, I'm gonna cut it. It's taking a little bit too long here. We definitely made money on this trade. We'll see what we get though. Yeah, I'm kind of scalping. Palantir continues to crash, though. Nasdaq's getting ready to crack lows here as well. So again, Palantir continues to crash. Palantir's down to 131s right now here. 131. So Palantir's looking rough. You know, let's see if that continues. But again, Palantir's looking rough. We'll trade for a little bit longer here today. I think today, if there's any day for me to stay on longer, it's today. Again, jobs crashing. Palantir's falling. Silver's down to $74 even right now. Gold's not doing as bad, though. My bears are in control right now. Like the poll might have been correct here about the bears. Again, JOLTS weaker than expected. Showed job weakness for sure. Again, give me a follow on x.com. We report all the jobs data live. Good. Give me a follow x.com at beginner trades. At beginner trades. We appreciate it. Again, the JOLTS report, weaker than expected. Quits were increased from previously and job openings decreased. So hirings decreased and quits increased, basically. We just cracked lows for a little bit here on the NASDAQ. Lows of the day here. Again, Bitcoin all testing lows of the day as well. Look at Bitcoin fall here, guys. Bitcoin dumping down 68 force right now. Still too early to say if this is a crash. Jobs are crashing, though. I justifiably say that. No, I think jobs are weak. I'll short this again if we get back up to like here, maybe, is what I'm looking at. You also could maybe argue 50 right here. I'll draw some lines so I don't have to have the worst drawings ever here. Again, I'm looking at 800s right there, and then I'm looking at 50 right here. That's maybe some rejection levels, though. I'm not super confident in them. And depending on the momentum today, we might not get anywhere close to that before we continue down. But that's what I'm looking at right now. And here's the NASDAQ. Big range on the day, though. Gold's actually popping a little bit higher here. SanDisk filled most of the gap that it went up on the downside already. And silver, again, down to 74 evens. Yeah, yikes. No shame in risk management. Yeah, I'm trying. Trying. Yeah, JOLTS. How is the JOLTS result bad for Bitcoin? That's what I don't understand. Again, Bitcoin wants easing, no? That's the story I've heard of the last 3 months. Bitcoin wants easing. NASDAQ just cracked lows again. Yeah, we didn't get a bounce anywhere close. We rejected at 700 instead right here. All right, guys, 620s. Still falling here. Amazon just cracked lows. Alphabet came all the way back down too. Under the VWAP. Silver's testing lows. Gold's pulling back a little bit. Nvidia just cracked lows of the day at 172.50. Apple is down on the day. Meta's down on the day. Microsoft is very red. Just broke under $400 a share. They're still seeing tech corrections here in markets, guys. Tech corrections is the story of the day for sure. Are we market crashing? Bigger fundamental news factors that play for Bitcoin jobs report doesn't mean anything. Yeah, the VIX is probably spiking. Okay, what's the VIX at? 23? 2250. Yeah. Nasdaq just cracked lows again at 24.6. I don't want to catch a falling knife either, so I'm just going to wait. Yeah, look at everything else here, guys. Nasdaq down. Gold and silver down. Nvidia breaking lows. Microsoft breaking lows. Amazon breaking lows. Palantir breaking lows down to 130 here. So we are seeing a brutal tech and AI correction here right now. Software slump, specifically with Palantir, continues and the VIX is spiking. Yeah, I'll probably just sit in PayPal. I think PayPal might be a little bit more resilient, and I'm not in a big position, so I'm just going to try to not look at it right now. It doesn't matter too much. Small position. 100% market manipulation. Why the sell-off? Well, bears took control this morning. And Nasdaq's starting to tumble a little bit here, but see if it's finds some footing here. It's been breaking down pretty brutally all morning. VIX is spiking. Palantir cracked lows again on 129s. All right, guys. Yeah, Nasdaq just cracked lows again. Brutal sell-off continues here. VIX still spiking, PayPal and everything else still dropping here. Nasdaq just cracked big lows. We continue down here today, or do we rebound a little bit from here? Let me know what you guys think. Again, the bears are definitely in control right now. Ugh, let's see if they survive. Let's see if the bulls survive. Look at the Nasdaq here, man. Cracking lows again. Nice risk off day. Yeah, it's definitely some fear in microchips right now. All right, we're starting to pop a little bit though. Let's see if this bounce continues. I'm actually pretty green in my funded. I've been trading all day. If you look at my stats here. No. You guys a rebound? Do you guys like a rebound now or a continuation of the bear action here? Trailed that short, exited just now. Look at this rebound here, guys. Wow. Again, look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin back up here. Still at 68s though, but it did break under 68s for a little while. Got down to 67 800s. So I don't know if I'd call this a crash, but markets dropped pretty significantly here. Again, job cuts hit the highest level since January of 2009. JOLTS showed weaker numbers than expected everywhere. Higher quits, less hirings. Fight. Don't say it. Do I short this? I kind of want to. I mean, every little bounce has been a shorting opportunity today so far. I'm not telling you to short. I really genuinely have no idea what you should do here, and I think it's definitely kind of risky either way you go. I think the range is large. If we get back up to 750s or 8s or maybe even 700s, I'll consider shorting small and then adding to it. Took partial for an easy $1,000. JP Morgan saying Bitcoin looks better than gold. Yeah, I saw that earlier. I don't know. I could see a continuation or a big V-shaped recovery from squeezing. VIX is falling. Quarter one is bearish. Yeah. Definitely a little scary right now. Again, we'll continue to trade this. Again, taking a look at everything else here. Nasdaq starting to bounce. Palantir is still very weak. Microsoft getting a low recovery bounce up to 400s. Meta slightly green. AMD still pretty weak on the day as well, though a lot of stuff's kind of scary right now. Gold 48.60s for gold. So gold's unchanged really. Silver's had a retest of 74s though. Amazon's starting to get a recovery bounce here. Markets are just kind of uncertain right now. Again, I'm up about $400 on this account. I did lose a Combine account though, which that's all right. Again, Amazon earnings today. We're at 24,600s now, 24.6. Market sentiment for quarter one is bearish. Trend sentiment is easy to remain. Post Soxo often. I see somebody posted here. I want you to comment on Soxo. Soxo is just microchip bull ETF, right? Yeah, I mean it's down today. SOXS is the short one. But yeah, I mean microchip ETFs have gotten destroyed over the last week. Bull ETFs at least. Bitcoin to 80,000 today. I hope you're right. I just don't know if I believe you. Again, here's Bitcoin right now. I hope you're right. Hope I'm wrong. Don't short here. I use Fibonacci bands. Trust me, below this line zone is only wick 99% of the time. I'm not shorting right here. This is too small. There's not enough meat on this bounce. Again, maybe if we got up to 700, but it's still kind of iffy there. I think 750 or 800. This level is probably my preferred short level. Just looking for a continuation at the 200 exponential, moving down, recovering a little bit, and then continuing down would be kind of the logic of that trade. Again, this move specifically is just too small. Although, again, with so much momentum on the downside, you know, this might actually work still, but I think it's a little bit riskier. Bitcoin just turned all the way back down here, guys, and just cracked lows of the day at 67s now. So Bitcoin under 68K, it's now at 67,870s for Bitcoin, 67,870s. So tapped lows for Bitcoin here. Watcher Guru just posted this. I gotta laugh at it. It says, a live look at the crypto market. A live look at the crypto market, apparently. Again, this is not me. Again, okay, I missed it. Hold on. Where'd it go? With that said, look at Bitcoin fall here. Oh my goodness, yeah. So scary right now, scary. With that said, Bitcoin down to almost 67,000 even here. Nasdaq is not looking as weak as Bitcoin. Bitcoin down to 67.5s. Is it time to buy Bitcoin, guys? Let me know. Again, is it time to buy? Looking at our poll, we asked people who would be in control of the opening bell. 58% were bearish, and the bears were right. Bears were right. I'm going to do another poll here regarding Bitcoin. Is it time to buy Bitcoin? Not financial advice. Bitcoin down to 67s right now. There's the poll. Vote on it. It's time to buy Bitcoin right now. It is not John. Negative. Not yet. Buy to hold. Yes. Nope. S&P under 6,800s. Nasdaq or Bitcoin testing 67,000. Nasdaq getting ready to test lows again. But look at Bitcoin testing 67,000 as we speak. Again, 67,000. Again, we're kind of split though. 100 votes already. 56% say no. It's not time to buy Bitcoin. 45% still saying yeah, it is. Who's right? Again, Bitcoin down to 67 even. Here's 67, right? Oh, I'm sure. That's all I'm going to hear today. Bitcoin down to this. Where's the bottom in Bitcoin? Let me know in chat right now. Where's the bottom? What good is Bitcoin? I mean, listen. Okay. We can say the same thing about a lot of stuff. You could say gold is tangible or whatever. Gold's a shiny rock, brother. You know? Like, yeah, you use gold in some tech, and I get it. But not nearly to justify the value of gold over the last, long time. So, I would say Bitcoin in terms of utility, there's a convenience utility about Bitcoin. There's a finite amount of Bitcoin out there. And so, I mean, obviously, I'm a Bitcoin bull, and you might disagree with me, and that's okay. I'm a perma bull in most things. And I think the longer you hold Bitcoin, the more money you'll make, probably, but you never freaking know. Previous market high plus minus 10% is always a good general rule for thumb to start buying. Not financial advice. $60 is the bottom, 55,000 the bottom, 57 to 60K, 55,000 is the bottom, 25,000 is the bottom. I hope not. 60K, low 50s, 59, under 50. There isn't a bottom. Bottom is zero. The bottom is when 8,000 Bitcoin equals a pizza. I'm sure that guy's still pretty upset. I'd be upset too. Hey, but thank you for the donation, brother. I appreciate it. And thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, Nasdaq getting ready to test lows again here. We're gonna crack lows again, guys. Let's see. I'll trade this again. I'm very green on the day. I'm up 400. I don't want to risk too much. Again, PayPal at 39.40s here. That's not looking good for me either, but I'll be all right. Netflix is green on the day. That's good. NASDAQ getting ready to test these lows again. I wanted, you know, maybe 750 or 8s, but again, the momentum's too strong. Too strong today. Yeah, Benson's still testifying like he was yesterday. It's for the Treasury, right? Or at least he was yesterday. Is he speaking today? I don't know. And Bitcoin under 69,000. Is that really? Take a look at Bitcoin right now. The 67s. Fear is here. A little scary right now in markets, guys. Yeah, I'm staying on a little bit later. Let me know if you'd like me to do this every day. Honestly, realistically, though, most of the time, there's not enough stuff going on for me to stay on this long every day. Today's different, though. Stuff's going on today. You're welcome, though. I am sick right now. Yeah. Look at the NASDAQ bouncing right around the low at 560, still pushing up a little bit here. Man. Okay, so a Chinese billionaire bets $300 million on a silver collapse. So Bian Ximing, a low-profile Chinese trader who made nearly $3 billion from bullish gold trades, have placed the Shanghai Futures Exchange largest net short bet on silver, worth about $300 million. His total short position, roughly 30,000 contracts. Silver's recent 16% drop has boosted his gains, though he faced some losses amid market volatility. NASDAQ getting close to the lows again. Bitcoin under 67,000 for a split second here. The Bitcoin is right at 67. It's under that. It's at 66 now. The Bitcoin is under that at 66,000s right now. High 66,000s. Hug me, John. I'm scared. All right, that'll be $30. There was news at 10. It was the JOLTS job opening report and the big red tape at the bottom. So JOLTS came in weak, higher quits, lower hirings. This is what the JOLTS report showed. Again, we're at 66,000. Just cracked lows here. 66,000. My Bitcoin chart is late. This is the Bitstamp chart. This is the earliest chart, no? If there's an earlier chart, let me know, but there's arbitrage depending on where you're looking at Bitcoin. Right, if you have $1 billion, bro, sit down. It's like the guy that traded meme coins up to over 100 million instead of just walking away, dude. You got $100 million, bro. I'm not saying you're a gambler, but $100 million, bro, sit out, man. Drink margaritas at the beach, dude. Stop it. You know? Bitcoin back over 67s. Yeah, NASDAQ didn't break lows, but it's bouncing a little bit here. Yeah, Bitcoin's scary right now. Bitcoin is software. All software is getting obliterated. A lot of stuff's getting obliterated today, man. Again, here's the NASDAQ getting obliterated. Silver down to 73s right now, getting ready to test lows of the day for silver. Gold, I think, is kind of flatter, but gold's testing bottoms of the day as well. Again, Nvidia down to 171s, open the day about 175. AMD down to about 193s. SanDisk down to 570s, red on the day. Again, Alphabet earnings yesterday. Alphabet's not doing as bad as it was, but it's still pretty red on the day overall. Amazon getting destroyed at 222s right now for software. Again, NASDAQ still flushing, getting close to lows of the day again. Again, NASDAQ's getting close to lows. I want to trade this. I don't know. $100 million's definitely enough, bro. Okay, NASDAQ's getting ready to crack lows. Yeah, look. You got 100 mil. All right, take 50 of that. Take 50 million. Take it into bonds, bro. Your bonds paying right now 4.2%. You're gonna make $2 million a year just sitting on nothing, you know? Anybody that can't manage 100 million and keep it for the rest of their life and be wealthy for the rest of their life is bad with money. Again, Bitcoin just cracked 66.5s here for a little while. It got down to 66.4. Still falling. Yeah, SoFi is down. CoreWeave is down. 76s. Visa's doing okay, but it's still retracing some. AMD's down big. Why are the rich getting richer? Because being rich enables you to get richer easier, you know. Again, take the example I just used. You got $50 million, bro. And you put it in a bond. Say you got 100 million, take 50 of that, stick it into bonds, you'll make, you know, $1.2 million a year, bro. At 2.4%. You know, 10-year treasuries. So over the life of that, you're gonna make, you know, $12 million in 10 years doing nothing, you know, and then at the end you'll get your money back too. Now, taxes, inflation, it's all hedging against those things though, but money definitely makes it easier to get wealthier the more you have. Bitcoin under 67,000 here, chat. NASDAQ's right around lows as well. Dip just started, and which? All right, Bitcoin back over 67,000. See a little bit of a resurgence and some stuff here. I'm just glad I diversified into other stocks. Again, I diversified into Coca-Cola, Home Depot, M's, which is up today too, Nike, Target. So that move has helped me out a lot despite the crazy drops that we're making here. Again, Treasury Secretary Besson is speaking right now. He said the idea of temporary AI guardrails in financing is interesting. He said up to the president about suing Warsh over rates. Was asked about Trump quip, also said it was a joke. Majority Leader Thune calls Democrats' demands unrealistic. Besant says Warsh is a highly qualified person to be Fed chairman. Whether to sue Warsh over Fed interest rate policy up to the president in the Senate banking hearing. Bro, why is the president already talking about suing Warsh? Warsh isn't even the chairman yet. Dude, you picked Warsh. If that's a concern... Oh, dude, I'm not feeling the best today. You diversify because you think a crash is coming. I don't know if a crash is coming. I just like to be diversified. I think diversification is one of the best tools to protect yourself. Hedging, essentially. And so smart people diversify. You know. I'm still holding some tech, but I feel better about it now. Again, Besson says he wholeheartedly supports the president's call for cap on credit card interest rates at 10%. Yeah, again, I think Warsh must have said something that he liked. I'm not for or against any politician. Like, I'm neutral on all this stuff. So don't think I'm, like, hypercritical of the president, because I'm not. There's some stuff I agree with and some stuff I disagree with that he says. I think the Warsh pick shocked a lot of people, but a lot of people are referencing the dollar, and they want Warsh to save the dollar. And if you take a look at the Dixie here, you know, the dollar, just interpreting this pick, is up a little bit from its close in late January here. So, you know, maybe there's a method to the madness here, but we'll see. We'll see what market does. Yeah, I think if anything, it's almost like a warning. Like, hey, basically, the previous FOMC chairman didn't really do what I want. You know, you better. Essentially. Ha ha ha. Because I think that's basically what it is, him saying that. He's like, oh, I'm just joking, but is he? I mean, he kind of is, I'm sure. It's not completely literal, but it's also like, hey, bro, I'll come after you, essentially, is what he's saying. I don't want to hear about anybody falling down the stairs, bro. My MCL just healed. Just healed. I'm back to being the top 3 worst blue belt at jiu-jitsu ever, but my MCL just healed. Yeah, I've been dodge, duck, dip, diving, and dodging all over the place now that my MCL's healed, so that's good. Yeah, if you look at rate cut odds here, I mean, the jobs data was weak here. So again, if you look at rate cut odds, this is one of the shocking things about markets right now, is that rate cut odds for March are now up to 22.7% likely. Now, this is subject to change. Why? Because next week we have 2 specific things that are going to influence these odds heavily. We have 2 things, all right, next week. 3, really, if you include retail sales, but that's not the big influence you want. We have NFP data and employment. Like, we have non-farm payrolls and unemployment data next week, Wednesday. And we have CPI inflation Friday. So both of these 2 things next week, NFP and CPI next week, are going to wildly influence these rate odds. Again, I'll give you some scenarios. If we get more weak jobs numbers, that's going to make yields continue to fall, and that's going to make the odds of a rate cut in March increase substantially. If we get really weak payroll numbers, high unemployment, weak payrolls, those are things that might influence it. Now, if we get really weak payrolls and low CPI inflation next week, that will make these odds go up substantially. You know, low inflation and weak payrolls is going to say, hey, we got the green light to cut rates early in a lot of people's minds, including yields. And again, today we've already had weak jobs data, so this is really what's influencing this. But if you look at the jobs data today, they made yields fall. Yields are down. Yields and interest rates follow each other. So yields are down, interest rates down. Interest rate sentiment is down because of weak labor, essentially. But again, as of now, it's still the majority likelihood that we're not going to cut rates in March. June is when it spikes up to 47.5% for another 25 basis point cut. So again, we'll see what happens here. But yeah, that's basically where we're at now. Again, yields, interest rates. We'll see what happens. Again, Besson's still speaking. He says he's interested in Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac fulfilling their missions to keep mortgage rates low. And again, if we look at Bitcoin here, Bitcoin's starting to get a little bit of a recovery right now. It's at 67.5s for Bitcoin. So Bitcoin back up to 67,500. Still very weak on the day, of course. Again, Besson says that the idea of temporary AI guardrails and financing is interesting. And somehow we're green day trading today. Shorting mostly. But the NASDAQ itself here. Look at this. NASDAQ. Starting to rebound. I'm looking at 24/7s. But I'd like 750 or 8. A little bit better. Maybe 775 up there if we can get that high. 700 could reject us here though. So we'll watch 700s right now. See what happens. Looks like Bitcoin is following the 4-year cycle. That's what a lot of people are saying. Turf toe hurts. But yeah, man. I tore my MCL partially and a spring ligament in my foot was torn as well. Dude, I hated wearing that boot. I had to wear a brace for my MCL, but I hated the boot more. The brace was easy. Boot is what I did not like. Again, Besson says will absolutely not support lowering tariffs on Canadian goods. Again, will absolutely not support lowering tariffs on Canadian goods. Besson. Again, yields fell. And they continue to fall. They just crack lows again here right now. Again, look at yields fall down again today. 4.216% after week's jobs data. Here's 700s right now. Let's see if 700 rejects. Had to take a break from financial stuff. Come back this crazy 3-day. What's causing the drop? Again, I started my live stream here, guys. Literally, I started my live stream here. Again, I'm not saying it's my fault, but it might be. I don't know how John does this day in and day out and not have to pop anxiety. No, I trade small and I don't worry too much about any of it. Again, 700s is kind of testing here. 700s, it's trying. Bitcoin will continue to drop until the end of summer. It's a certainty. Nothing's certain in financial markets, brother. Alphabet's starting to rise, though. Alphabet climbing back up. Maybe I'll short the 200 exponential. I'm kind of waiting for this trade before I shut it down. But maybe I'll short it if we get up there. Yeah, maybe. And maybe we will all right, there's 700s. I might miss the rejection anyway. I wanted 700s. We'll see what Amazon earnings do after the closing bell. Yeah, that 700 level rejected it clean, though. Look at that. Yeah, I could have taken 700. I just feel like I might have been a little greedy with it, considering I'm up a lot on the day already. And, you know, I think I would have just preferred to, I would have preferred to just wait. Even if I miss it, I can just sit on my Sit on my hands. If that makes sense. All right, look at this rejection. Again, 24/7s here. 24/7s. Where's Bitcoin at right now? Bitcoin's getting ready to potentially test lows again as well. Reversible? I mean, we could reverse some. I don't know if we're going to reverse all of it. Nope, continues. Thanks for staying late. Yeah, all good. You thoughts on buying Tesla calls in the next week? Maybe. Again, if Tesla front loads into robotics, maybe there's a buy opportunity there. But it's at 390s now, under 400. It's been volatile. So, again, the time to buy is when blood is running in the streets, according to some analysts, even if the blood is your own. Let's see what happens. See what happens. Again, Bessett's still speaking. He said couldn't give Canada 0 tariffs after its China trade deal. Will absolutely not support lowering tariffs on Canada to 0. Tom Lee's Bitmine ETH investment is currently at $8 billion in unrealized losses. Oof, kind of a scary day here. Is it time to buy here? I did a poll. Is it time to buy Bitcoin? 44% say yes. 56% say no. Yeah, all good. Again, do me a favor. If you're, I know we got a lot of people here lurking that don't speak, and that's okay because I appreciate you guys. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. So much, team. We appreciate the love. Again, market's scary right now. Although we're starting to slow up a little bit. I don't know if I necessarily like this right now. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Again, Bessett's speaking right now too. But again, we'll see what happens here. Again, jobs are kind of crashing down. We've had 3 specific labor reports week today. Again, these include jobless claims, 231K, expected 212. We showed up at 231,000. We had challenger job cuts show up at over 108,000 for January, the highest level for a January print in challenger job cuts since 2009. And then we also had JOLTS show up lower than expected at 6.5 versus 7.2 and higher than expected for quits. Hello? Hey. All right, guys, so Bassett says it's undesirable to eliminate inflation completely, but desirable to get it back on track to the Fed's 2% target. Okay. All right, NASDAQ, Bitcoin bouncing back a little bit here. Bitcoin's bouncing back more than the NASDAQ is. Speak once a day to remind that, and then I lurk. Lurking's good, bro. Lurking's good, dude. All right. Opinionated enough for those that remain silent? Yeah. We appreciate it. Bitcoin, almost back up to 68,000 right now. Yeah, tomorrow should be fun. Love your content. You just spit facts without taking a side. I try, bro. People get so mad at me for being this way as well. Hey, look, man, don't let politics take up so much of your life that you're mad at somebody for staying out of it. You know? That's the reality of it. Once you get to the tippity top, it's all the same anyway, and that's what people don't understand. You know, people like to root. Humans are tribalist, didn't they? So it's all love. It's all love. Again, we're up to almost 68K. Again, Bessett's speaking right now. Here is the speech if you want to take a look at it. He's testifying before a Senate panel right now. So again, before I go on and cut on out of here, I'll send you this so you can. Kind of boring. You know, when Jerome Powell does the semi-annual monetary policy report, there is the Besson speech right there in chat. I just posted it in chat right now. Yeah, again, DAK back up for Bitcoin here. In the NASDAQ, low, steady, trying. Not doing too much though. All right, guys, I'm gonna cut out of here. So it's all love. I appreciate this so much. Every asset on earth is crashing at the exact same time. That doesn't happen in free markets. It only happens under manipulation. Well, it happens under fear. Messin says in 2024, I saw inflation stronger dollar from tariffs. The opposite of my 24 prediction on tariffs has happened. Pokemon cards way up. I had some Pokemon cards, but the maid stole them, unfortunately. You know, I had some graded cards for my son. Maids took them. There's no Bitcoin trade here. Need to form a flag or bottom. Stick here on YouTube is how to make money. Do you ever do any content on how to retire with the money you made? I do some brief explanations, but again, I'm not an investment professional. I'm not a CPA. Figure it out. And no, I'm good. If the worst thing in my life happens is Pokemon cards were stolen from me. I bought them for my son, is who they were. They're not my Pokemon cards, they're my son's. But I live a very blessed life. I'm very happy. I can't really complain, you know. I'm not gonna cry about it too much. It depends on the card though, really. But alright guys, I'm gonna cut out of here. NASDAQ might be getting ready to retest these lows though. Look at this. Yeah, we're at 613s. But yeah, I'm gonna cut out. Y'all be good. Have a great day. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. Again, tune in tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to cover Amazon today. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really feeling the best. And so, you know, I might just kind of take the day off here. Again, we'll see if the brutal stock market and Bitcoin crash continues here. That's what I'm curious about. Does the brutal stock market and Bitcoin crash continue tomorrow? Let me know if you guys think it does. Yes or no before I close it down. Yeah, let me know. Yeah, have a great one, team. Good luck. See you guys later. Remember, not an investment professional. Not liable if you lose money. Make your own assessment. Trade smart. Can't guarantee anything. No? I think it really depends on if Amazon crashes. So if Amazon crashes from earnings, then we might see some crazy tomorrow. But anyways, for the last time, I know I said it like 5 times. I'm going to cut out of here. Y'all be good. Have a great day.